when it was Kemet, Black Egypt. It was a Nile Valley civilization. Black Egypt. Like and subscribe. Black Egypt. It wasn't no Mediterranean culture. Like and subscribe. You gon' get tormented for 4 minutes if it's war when it just said Jeshurun got a false door in it. The Nubian flow, that's before Kemet. My Sakim T got rubies and gold, and it's fit for a Kushite king. But what it look like, the green Sahara ring bearer, bring terror to your satellite kingdom, so they do not bother me. Scarification look like wavy line pottery. Kush with the black top pots, a rap top notch, and I could kick you till your laptop stops. I'm like Tahaka, Shabaka, or Pianki, the author's a father. Any jockey, I came down the Nile through the lands of Kush, living a pre-dynastic pharaoh way and marrow way. Kerma, Khartoum, or Simna by the 5th cataract. Now I put the 5th wheel on the Cadillac. So much ride, a white man couldn't battle that though, they had to paddle back. Black Egypt, Black Egypt, Black Egypt. You gotta look and see where the Nile started. Black Egypt, and how it was easier to go downstream than upstream. And which way the river flowed. Don't look at the color, look at the culture. Black Egypt. What you know about Dynasty 00? Roll through with Shimsu, Heru on the standard. Ta-Nehisi, Sudanese G's. Try to test me, I'm an archer from Taseti. The squad ready, so I'm stepping in with the extra thin leopard skin. A tail on the apron with my crown on. You can crack jokes, but I ain't the one to clown on. Hey yo, Egypt was black, and that's a fact. All you little suckers need to step on back. They tried to throw us off, but we kept on track and started doing research once you slept on that. And with Kemet, it don't matter what the name mean. If it's a black culture, then that's the same thing. Race science is a lame thing. Ever since Nubian times, I let the chain swing. How the first known in Egypt was Taseti, but Taseti was Taseti already. Yep, it meant the land of the bow, and when Egyptians needed archers, this is where they would go to recruit them. I got arrows and I'll shoot them. Who them fake pharaohs? I uproot them and usurp them. Black Egypt, Black Egypt, Black Egypt, Black Egypt, Black Egypt, Black Egypt, Black Egypt. Yo, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Let's get it poppin' today. Come on. Let's get it poppin', y'all. Yeah. What's up? What's up? We gonna play one more banger. Couple more bangers. Started out, let the people roll in and get back on it. Told y'all I was gonna be asleep to about 11, 12 o'clock. I got up late night doing some research live and I was asleep. Here we go. I got the white crown. Man, hold on. I've been keep on. Every time I play this song, I want to play the new version of it that's going to drop when it release. But sometimes, every time I go to try to find that version of it, Drive, let me go to my Google Drive, go to share it with me, and see if, what is my copy of Cinema Bill? What's this? A new beat? Hold on, we're gonna let the people roll in. He want me to rock this? I can't be playing that then. I thought this was the one we already did. Hold on, I wanna play the White Crown, the new version, with DJ Eclipse scratching on it from Sirius Satellite Radio. So I'll go make a song called The White Crown, and we got DJ Eclipse from Sirius Satellite Radio doing the cuts on the song. So you know you're going to hear that. You're going to be riding in your car and you'll be like, I got the white crown. And you're going to be like, damn, I remember you made that song when we was arguing over Kemet. All right, I can't find it, y'all, and I ain't going to hold this up too long, so we're going to just listen to the demo version. Here we go. Upper Egypt, boy, got that white crown. Upper Egypt, boy.
Babylonian bars, Ugaritic spit it, get it, dagger on me. That harpoon, it ain't for abalone. Phoenician pieces made of Nubian gold. Antediluvian scrolls hit the Nubian poles. And if you wanna debate that, you'll get truly exposed. I'm like the king of Axum, Axum. Bring the maxims of Patar back to action. I actually swing my axe, so y-axis 32 degrees west on the y-axis. Try and catch us. Christianity was stole from Kemet, lying bastards. Compare the book of Psalms to Aminope. Sometimes when rhyming, I'm just like a shaman, okay? I rock the white crown, say top shimmer. You rock the red crown, say top metal. You rock the white crown, say top shimmer. You rock the red crown, say top metal. I'm a star charting Bantu boy with my bow and arrow. I raise a king in my gnome if I don't know a pharaoh. Explosive and lethal when your dreams like Joseph the Hebrew and no sending evil. Why jetting that back? Here to ward that off. Right. I'm not a sage burner, scroll learner, the page turner, the script writer. Put the pen down, cause I don't fucking need it. Cause I got the white crown, the upper Egypt. The white crown, say top shimmer. You rock the red crown, say top metal. You rock the white crown, say top shimmer. Come on. You rock the red crown, say top metal. I'm a C group, Madjai Archer, from Ta-Nehisi. You conscious community pseudos never try to test me.
You can claim Crips, I'ma claim the C group. Let's go!
From Ta-Nehisi, you conscious community pseudos never try to test me. Cause I'm in Rock Squad up, fuck religion. And when I'm on the mic, don't cut my wisdom, boy. I'm W.E.B. Du Bois. I'll smother you under the Sphinx, heed the voice.
That's the incantation.
Ancestrally cooking up mean lyrics. Cats fighting cause they don't think the Dogon has seen Osiris. And DNA can't prove ethnicity. How you conscious? You say Pacific instead of specifically. You know my shit so raw, you get crushed. Think the force of a hippo jaw. It's the Madjai. Top shimmer. You rock the red crown, say top metal. You rock the white crown.
What happened to King Social last night?
You rock the red crown, say top metal. I rock the white crown, say top shimmer. You rock the red crown, say top metal. You rock the white crown, say top shimmer. You rock the red crown, say top metal.
Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom. I think they mad cause I can mix hip hop in with my show. Cause that's what hip hop is, man. Hip hop is a fun way to learn. Like you see that crown I took off my logo in 2008 and I took the Roman imperialist crown off of my logo in 2008. And I put up a Shekemti. So if you really want to go in on the song, the white crown and the red crown right there on my logo, they been there. You should have been knew that. Bennu, you should have been knew that. Like the phoenix, like Bennu, the bird that rises from the ashes. You should have been knew that. Okay, but we're gonna set this off right. Yeah, I got this logo all kind of different ways, but it just remained. I should make that crown red and white. Ooh, shout out to Melik. We're gonna make that crown red and white. Now we got the new logo. You see how it happens. So the next album drop, my man just told me make the crown red and white. Yeah, but I'm about to play this video. So cause look, we starting off the show. This is the best place for you to learn and be entertained. It's edutainment, you know what I'm talking about? So sometimes don't be confused. I don't like to teach or entertain at anyone's expense. But we do have scholastic conflicts, and I hope no one feels too disparaged when their information is set on fire. All right? So let's get it popping. I'm going to start as we let the people roll in. The quicker we could get into it, the quicker you like the video. Right now, we're going to play a video. Only got 1,500. No. This got about 44,000. But it's from back in the day. One of them ones, Divine Dreams by Casual featuring Moonshine. Produced by DJ Teray. If you like the information, listen to the lyrics.
You see the ancient storyteller said, give him a while. In Oakland Hills, the owner of the golden skills. Fetch fire out of stones with the stroke of steel. Spit fire in the phones and the mic collects it. Once it hits the wire, the word's electric. Call it heat. You recognize the properties of fire. I shine the light that gave birth to desire. And through this, often sacrifice a rapper's life to fake. Get trapped in the studio and tied to the stage. I'm an elementary element, eloquent vehiculum of the esteemed Elohim. I've been invited to
Get
the
that
most
iron. I'm gonna get back on that iron, boy.
I witnessed the greatness of various races. I learned to be evasive of evils that chase us.
That's how they spot you in East Oakland. Hold on. Check this out. This is how they spot you in East Oakland. You got 250 over your head. They just look like nigga, you gonna get broke.
Features in the Pharaoh's faces under the creator. Cause yes, I'm creative. Hold off evil spirits with the tongue of the native. The ancient storyteller said, give him a while. I got my legs crossed.
King Tut. Quick to put them things up. My Nefertiti got a mean strut respecting.
Like the video, let's go.
Direct dream. So fuck, I care if your next clean. My clean be the next thing. At best, it's still jesting. The X Factor, the Excalibur. Cultivate fact, a text tractor. Get at ya. You and your sacrificial bastards pay homage cause you have to. Yeah, this that's the legendary scripture. Mixture of the 5 elements and lyrically legit so you can get the picture. Hit ya, physically fit fixture. Articulate great by you settle. My level never take like it's the elements behind the blind.
Come on, man. You see that metal nature in East Oakland? Look at that metal nature in East Oakland.
Finesse is effortless.
Recline you with the rhyme kings. This is smash
Rhyme schemes, these the elements
Pyramids in
behind
East
the fine
Oakland.
dreams.
What I see make you turn on your high beams.
So never second guess.
Finesse is effortless.
Recline you with the rhyme kings.
This is Smash Moonshine. Yeah, I gotta get back on them weights. Get me juiced. Throwing that thing up. Come on, we're gonna have a good show today, but I'm just putting y'all up on game. You know what I'm saying? Been putting the knowledge in music. And I make it sound like it's just regular rap bars. You know what I'm saying? You gotta make it just sound like it's regular rap bars. Let's go, like the video, let's get popping. If you want some knowledge, just listen to the lyrics. Listen to the lyrics. See if you learn something real quick. Watch this.
Hey yo, just so your bookie don't overlook me. I still rock a show with rookies, the flow is cookies. Dipped in milk, Spider-Man dipped in silk. I gangsta lane and lift the tilt. Sit mic check, H-Deuce. See the 7 Deuce Monte Carlo? Yeah, that's the Grey Goose. Right hand, your hype man. Why the crew Bogart, your bodyguard. We so hard, Yakuzali, your body scarred. Stin shooter,
That boy slick, boy. I love that boy.
Over you. The gap blow, Joe, you see so many arms, you get arachnophobia, the black foe. Shut shit like the lacto, normally laid back, but he only attack. It's the chic answer, Diop of hip hop.
Chic answer, Diop of hip hop.
Lockjaw, Ursa Ma'at, Ross, and Tepin Ra, the planned murderer of land burglars. It's the 21st stellar people. Nigga, we the best. Rome next to the Olmecs. Who told the secrets to the Masons? Rough ride my pineal with no
Rough
apron to
ride my
booby
pineal.
scriptures. Rappers trying to be trappers, but we truly vicious, wild and unruly with it. Rap songs, animated Pixar, movie pictures on the utmostest. Rain like the third Tutmosis.
And check this out, on the utmostest, I reign like the third Tutmosis. Where y'all at? Put up something in the chat, let's go.
With the tongue play, I place words in the beats when it's heard in the streets. It's like audible feng shui with tennis shoes hanging from electric wires. Corner store wallpaper, neglected flyers. And you expect the liars to rectify us.
You expect the liars to rectify us?
They petrify us. Emptiers won't deny us, pious. We only understand the heights of the highest. Who the most treacherous? Son, the flow effortless. Wonderful, wet tundra flow. The essence is excellent.
That's why they can't fuck with me.
Your bungalow. Heavy flow, bro. Don't get caught in the undertow. You got fans that'll be irresponsible. Most rappers know, so they fear the monster. Boy, wet, saturated, hydrated.
I vibrated up out of my physical.
Wizard till you suit pseudo-lyrical misfits. This is more than a band. These are signs and symbols of primordial man.
Smashrock and toe Ray, twice your lifespan.
God damn. Supposed to be more fire in the chat, cause I know y'all feeling that. Fuck it, if y'all ain't, then I'm on my own shit. That's what I'm on. Shit, you know, we've been doing this. All right? We just hyping it up before we get in with the teaching. You heard that boy say he the chic anti-Diop of hip-hop, the rhyming Van Sertima, Lockjaw, Ursa Ma'at, Ross and Tepin Ra, the planned murderer of land burglars. It's the twat of first stellar people. Nigga, we the best. Fuck Khaled talking about. We the best. B-E-S. We the best. Rome next to the Olmecs. Who told the secrets to the Masons? Rye fried my pineal with no apron. Tahuti scriptures, rappers trying booby trappers, but we truly vicious, wild and unruly with it. Rap songs, animated, Pixar, movie pictures. On the utmostest, I rang like the third Tutmosis. Come on, man. Let's stay away from that boy on that mic thing. It's been like that. I spit my shit. Let's keep it popping, dog. Let's get into the Nah, we ain't getting into the teaching yet. Some of these bars, we chilling. I'll play that latest one. See, now when I spit like that took, shit got 25,000 views in like 10 years. Make me sick. Then you go like this. Go to East Oakland, go hook up with them boys. They get you looking like, bruh, Cash, come hop on our wave, bruh. You feel me? Come hop on our wave. We gonna bitch you back.
The Mechanics.
These my brothers.
That's what it is, man.
Certified. Smashrock, Wellington elegance. The Madjai.
It's what
Still
it is,
doing
man.
it in my field, man.
I made a
What it is, man.
Ask somebody. I grew up on 8 Deuce Hunted with all my folks. Tall LD, Rose, The Rock and T-Dog, Smart P, Mike P, Boo Stub and Fred. Me and Bill used to kick it before Terry was dead. Bay Area shit, but it was really the out. We wasn't listening to Frisco or Vallejo. It was all East Oakland. I'm keeping it real. Before the dope game hitting, niggas start getting killed. Now they riding Rolls Royces to Skyline Hills. Then that pimp game got so real. Acorn and Brookfield. I took a ridey on the deuce with Mr. Hall, nigga. Rapping with Davey D and East my ball, nigga. I could give good game to baby, bro, cause I was a youngster in the in the 80s, bro. I seen the real Mac in the making of the dope game. I even seen the Oakland streets before cocaine. What it is, man. To come up from broke to rich. Don King on a prime queen. Promote your bitch. What it is, man. Getting money off coke and shit, and I see that there's some Oakland shit. Alright. That's what it is, man. Parking lot, smoking it up. On the freeway, open it up. That's what it is, man.
That's how it was, and that's how it is.
Them youngsters ain't listening. Ask B the weeder, let them see the heater. Hit the block like Ricky Jeter. I can teach you the game, mainly the loyal part. Learned it in the Royal Park with my boy The Rock. Me and Pac used to fuck 2 bitches to stay next door. Severe had that 7 Deuce Chevelle. 454. Same partner The Rock had the Granada. Cause Oakland niggas didn't ride 6'4 Impalas. Trying to get dollars, B-boys to bank robbers. We spot decoys, B-boys and straight ballers. And niggas sending bitches to the block tough. Catching trafficking charges, getting locked up. For pimping and pandering. We used to FedEx weed and charge shipping and handling. That Oakland booty made her look bow-legged. Airport 4 Ps made her look so pregnant. To come up from broke to rich. Don King on a prime queen. Promote your bitch. What it is, man.
How come this got 1 million views?
I see that there's some Oakland shit. Alright. That's what it is, man. Parking lot, smoking it up. On the freeway, open it up. That's what it is, man.
That's how it was, and
You could get your mama house shot up if you run up on the plug.
The type of shit that get done up for the drugs. Bitches popping pussy while gangsters mean mug. Walking to the club with like 17 thugs. In Oakland, shit just different, nigga. I just seen a thick bitch pistol whip a nigga. Homie got the business for tripping with her, and she a pimp too. Had bitches with her. They come up from no paper to more paper, legit drug money, scam bread, and whole paper. And we OGs, we on that real estate. Pull off from the villa safe, killer with dealer plates. $1 million building in the 50s, just got it appraised and they 1.6 me. I'm a fixture like the warrior or the A's with the mechanics in Oakland, that's the heart of the bag.
That's what it is, man. To come up from broke to rich. Don King on a prime queen.
Promote your bitch.
That's what it is, man. Getting money off coke and shit, and I see that there's some Oakland shit. Alright. That's what it is, man. Parking lot, smoking it up.
Hey, I got a track with show.
Open it up. That's what it is, man.
I ain't gonna play too much more music. I just was getting hyped. Shout out for the people for rolling through. Shout out for y'all watching. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I got a track with show, and but we didn't do no video. Casual, Too Short, and E40. I got one with E40. You know how we do. Richie Rich on the song too. There ain't no video. This is just an Oakland. Y'all probably ain't gonna feel this beat because for people from Oakland know that this was old school Dangerous Dame beat from this is old school Dangerous Dame beat. But yes, I mean, you know, Schultz rolled through, Richie Rich rolled through, G Stack, my man E Mac.
Going off a zone.
Come on, man. Now look, that's when I had that other crown. Look at my look, right. See. So let's talk about coming into the knowledge. Y'all see, I had that crown because I knew what it do, but I didn't know what it do. This 2008. Right? And I had just released this album and I added the crown to my logo and got that imperialist Roman crown on there. And then I'm like, hold on. About 2010, I'm like, man, take that crown off my logo. It don't feel right. I need a traditional African crown. But yeah, Too Short on this thing. We just repping Oakland one time. Who else was on this thing? Richie Rich.
Show y'all up in this motherfucker, bitch. E-Mac. Give him a bar, boy.
I'm from Oakland, boy. I thought
E-Mac in the building.
We ride doors open, smoke.
Now that's that Oakland shit right there.
Flooded the block, we all look similar, just separated by paper and who rims is bigger. Cash, my nigga.
You can only hear it with some woofers, subwoofers.
It's the home of the grapes, whistle tips on scrapes. You get it? Take trips out of state with the weight and get it. We pay low price on the block, stay with it. It's Oakland, daddy. Spinner things, hold the caddy. My jewel pieces keep the cops mad at me. My generation, we ain't got no sense. We keep them behind tents, smoking out your residence. It's the home of the riders, the raiders.
This that old slow Oakland vibe right there. Like,
I'm repping the O.
I'm just gonna play short verse so y'all can hear how he rep for me.
Oakland, California, but I never sold cocaine. I used to sell Coca-Cola at the Oakland A's games with future kingpins and rap stars, some young hustlers. We from the O, where you from, motherfucker?
You know what I'm talking about?
Ain't no doubt you get shot in the town. Ran your mouth, the niggas about to get down. Everybody knows how we be on that shit. You bring her to the town, yeah, we want your bitch. Town niggas sell foul, but we laced with knowledge. Can't get out the streets and didn't make it to college. Got a chromed out Harley and I'm making some dollars. When you see me hit the corner, I be making it holler. Cause I love where I'm from, it's where the pimps was raised. The Super Bowl Raiders and the championship A's. Independent labels, Bay Area fall.
I talk show some Metal Netcher.
Tell them where I'm from.
Yeah, Oaktown, Eastside, flame spitting.
There you go.
Cats consider my rap street tie. Monster ranks are such from gangsters, busters to bosses. Y'all go stupid, but walk the streets cautious and spit it like he flawless, rhyme lawless, town business. And if you down with this ballers, bang out and hang out. Or they in policy, cash smoke grapes all day and make dollars.
I don't even need to play that though. I'm just having fun. Woo, all right. So what was I at? Y'all, I hope y'all was enjoying that. I don't, you know. I don't even ever do no hip hop on my channel no more. I'll be bored with it, you feel me? I'm less bored with learning. And learning is fun. I get similar engagement. You know, yeah, I you know, y'all say, yeah, this ain't battle rap. That's really because y'all can't handle that battle rap demeanor, you feel me? And so you want to talk against it. But I understand y'all. I won't mush you like that no more. You feel me? I just stay on that scholastic. Cause you know, I talk a lot of shit, but that's where I'm from though. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't like, but no, I know everybody ain't built like that. Some people are and they don't care. They just, it roll off their shoulder, and those are the type of people I normally hang around and kick it with. It ain't like rowdy or nothing, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah. Where was I at? What's up to the party people? Where was I at? Oh, you know, so what I was doing? Oh, man. So I started to just go, because cats switch their position so much that I started to just go through our old videos and get statements from people where they're saying contradictory things. And we understand that they're not switching up too much on their stance because they're not switching up on their stance too much because of they learn new information. More or less is because the argument is shifting. Certain points that they used to stand on are getting knocked down. And so now cats are looking for new ways to get their argument popping. Looking for new ways to get their argument popping. All the while we arguing and doing all this stuff, I'm still trying to maintain my career so that I can sit here and discuss things freely at my leisure during the daytime. You know what I'm saying? Concerning the term Kemet, we've been having long discussions for years over that term. You could just go look on anybody's page who discuss it. And they got videos trying to discuss this going back forever. A lot of good points have been made. But some cats is going crazy now. And so I want to go in on a few things today. Let me open up the chat. See who out there and what we feeling today. You from the Bay? What's up? It's all good. Black Lion Supreme, still repping the town. What's up? The town tuned in? That's good. I'm glad the town tuned in. Was that me with the dreads? Yeah, that was me with the dreads. Let's go back and look. Yeah, that was me with the dreads. Hold on. Let's go back. Yeah, this is where I came from. But somebody put this on. All right, this is a banger. Check this out. You know, Jake One produced all the tracks for everybody. Rick Ross, everybody. Yeah, that's me with the dreads, 1991. Signed to Madjai Records. Look at how I didn't even know how to do my dreads, but I was one of the first dudes in Oakland with dreads. Like all the gangster dudes all the real bosses who eventually got dreads, I'd let you know that they was like, how you do your dreads? So my man named, but my things was whooped. I'm looking like one of them hoop players. So when I be seeing Arsenal, he be hella reminding me of the young me, yo. I be like, damn, that's how I used to be running up on dudes. I had big fro up under the front of the dreads. I didn't know how to do it. But the song is me and E40. This was me and E40. I wasn't letting up either. But here we go. This is by Jake One. You know what I mean? See, this is hella funny. All that y'all know what I mean? That's why we be laughing, because This is just old Oakland slang, but cats then went and took that and made whole YouTubes. That's the name of Lord Jamal's YouTube page, y'all. Y'all know what I mean? But listen to me.
Hell of fun. To do that right there. You understand? Alright, check it out. I got a bullet for every nigga in your entourage. Give them a pistol, deep tissue, massage is how I'm fucking with it. Killing them, filling my rhymes. I get high and Bellagio, ceiling designs. I'm up your main hoochie, mainly because you gang goofy. Ain't no colorful nigga, I rock the plain Gucci and the frames Gucci. Ain't gon' talk about clothes because I ain't boozy. Your boy Babe Bossy, so stay off me. Please don't make me call them hitters out to handle you dudes. And your family holding candles on the Channel 2 News. Y'all can be hurt, you be the next block dead homie t-shirt. Pack the heat for the static while I'm smoking on a black and sweet aromatic. Homie keep staring at it. Hey, I go dumb. What you want, some? It ain't even grapes no more. We smoke some.
I've been running this game all my life. You know I'm always staying gangsta. Gangsta. No matter ballin' a nickel and diamond, I'm always staying gangsta.
I swear they would have said this was a wig, a Nubian wig. Let's hear E40 verse.
Been running this game all my life, you know I'm always staying gangsta. Gangsta. No matter ballin' a nickel and diamond, I'm always staying gangsta. Keep it gangsta. If you a hustler, you understand life, what it takes to survive. Tryna come up on the street, stay alive. Cause you came up through all of the struggles and always stay gangsta. So keep it gangsta.
I get high like California gas prices, driving on a suspended license. 3 o'clock in the morning, every morning I hear sirens. Paddy wagons and ambulances, squad cars and violence. And it ain't nobody talking cause witnesses keep their silence. It's a minus if the retaliation don't go into affection. The same day that it happened, make sure it's nothing pleasant. These suckers will play you for false and try to hit you. Act like they with you, but who's be really against you? See, I never tell a botch all my business. That's not a groovy look. The same broad to be the same broad that'll have you took. The same broad that put you in jail the last time for slapping the shit out her ass for telling the first time. See, it's rules in this type of shit I abide by. One is don't enter the game unless you are ready to die. I'm a product of the soil and I made some cash, but you gotta get in and get out if you expecting to last.
Running this game all my life, you know I'm always staying gangsta. Gangsta. No matter ballin' a nickel and diamond, I'm always staying gangsta. Keep it gangsta. If you a hustler, you understand life, what it takes to survive. Tryna come up on the street, stay alive. Cause you came up through all of the struggles and always stay gangsta. So keep it gangsta.
I fold racks with cold cats. House dip, couldn't tell if it's wallpaper or gold plaques. And I ain't never sold no crack. Hove did that, so I wouldn't have to go through that. I'm from the Bay, gangsta, stay gangsta. Grimy, grungy, all that. We hungry, call back, I'm spongy. Soak up game, don't get broke up. Smash got the West Coast woke up, huh? Put your paws up, nigga, get your bars up. Cause I can read your mind, you like he raw as fuck. I stay smashing, I ain't polite. Smashrock, do his gangsta right. Blow a eighth a night, and just to make it right, I skate with Mike. To drop 6'4" thing, Aikman White. You ain't gotta be a gangster to be gangster. Just smash and shine like an OG gangster.
I've been running this game on my.
Damn. Shout out to y'all for listening. I'm happy I get to put y'all up on this music before we even go in. You know, I ain't rushing shit. I'm chilling. Nope, I'm just chilling in the vibes. It's all good. Some people didn't know it went down like this. And so I just be back. I really do be humble. I be chilling. Arguing with motherfuckers I don't know.
Yeah.
That ain't even doing nothing.
Smashrock, Wellington is elegance. Caparu, you know what I mean?
What?
J. Raw's in the
What that boy say in the hip hop to the hip hop community?
is elegance. Caparu, you know what I mean? J. Raw's in the building, holding me down. Respect game or expect flames. I connect with the select, we met, I collect change. Manila fall to the realest, soldier, the illest, filler, still a killer. Realer than villains, a live for Skrilla. The way your boy spit, you think he had to rest. Came all the way from Oakland and you're hoping I'm wet. Soaking. They know it's not as dope as it get. Don't get broken by the opening act. Now check it out, y'all. Casual J. Raws, we make.
I ain't even playing all this stuff. This was a cool one though. 122,000 views. It didn't do much because that was 10 years ago. All right, yeah, I'm bored with that now. Straight up. bored with that. I might bored with that. Bored with that. Man, that shit. You know, everybody got their own personal views about their career and everything. I'm so happy and blessed, but I get bored with that. The last song was on the album, me and J. Rawls. Every time I try to make a conscious effort like that, it gets shot to the ground. Like this. So since we want to start teaching for real, but I'm on my hip hop vibe, here go another one of those songs that I could tell you in the song better than I could tell you. A lot of the stuff in this song, listen like we doing the knowledge. For real. It's all knowledge, and a lot of the stuff in this song we debate about, or you could tell cats don't even know about when we talk about it. Check it out. We even go in on the history of Kemet, everything. Let's go. This is me and J. Rawls, Ain't Trying to Hear. We didn't do no video. Listen to the lyrics and see if you can learn something.
Air Casual go again with another tweet about some knowledge, man. Hey, why don't you kick that knowledge on a record, man? You scared or something? Come on, man. What's up?
If I started kicking knowledge, it'll probably be finito, cause I know the history as it was given by Manito. Ptolemy, the first hotel, Philadelphia. One of them clowns asked me to do the history of Kemet, so I wrote that down. I broke that down. I penned it in Greek so the freaks could read. They couldn't match the melanated frequency, but he bothered me and asked me to read the glyphs, so I bothered him.
You mean you son?
Yep, I told him the history, and here we go. I said 36,000 years ago, it was the Zep-Tepi. The first time, it was the god that Ptah, the Greeks call him Hephaestus, but really he's a deification of the Twa. Ptah was infinite, the first man had been here forever. After Ptah was Atum-Ra, who ruled for 1,000 years. See this here, that knowledge I ain't trying to hear. See this here, that knowledge I ain't trying to hear, so I ain't trying to go there.
All right, for all the knowledgeable people who want to keep it on that, which Kemetic myth story is this? Where Ptah was first and he was infinite. After Ptah was Atum-Ra, who ruled for 1,000 years. Put it in the chat. Which Kemetic story is this?
Hey, yo, see this here, that knowledge I ain't trying to hear, so I ain't trying to go there.
Oh, what you mean you ain't trying to go there? Come on, man. You tripping. Listen, you need to drop that knowledge, man. I think people need to hear that, man. I need to hear that.
All right, tell me. Here go the rest of the Kemetic
Yo,
myth.
it's time to continue. What's that?
Next for Shu, let's go in, let's begin. Seeing Medunetta, Shu means the wind, and Medunetta, that's that ancient tongue. I've been outdoing you dudes. Face it, young, I never get in arguments on whether Egypt was black, cause on the real, yo, we founded that 999,000.
I never get in arguments on whether Egypt was black. Because on the real, yo, we founded that. That's my whole argument still. The founding cultures of Kemet came from the South.
Arguments on whether Egypt was black, cause on the real, yo, we founded that 999,000 raps. I'm like the SPCA. Jay, I'm housing cats, arousing your spouse about her blouse. In fact, my ladies get up, they stand up on the couch and clap. It's entertaining, don't mean to get off track, but my energy was.
The men fight cosmology in hip hop. Let's go. This one is a tale given to us by Manito. So I'm really like acting as if I'm Manito in this song. So if you go back and listen to the beginning, you get it better.
Was telling me to just relax and bless the track. Dynasty 1 founded by Mena, but when it comes to Kemet, Mena's not the beginning. You wouldn't know how to receive a sacred gift, cause you're faker than that Hebrew creation myth. Adam and Eve, please, Adam and thieves.
You wouldn't know how to receive a sacred gift because you're faker than that Hebrew creation myth. Adam and Eve, adamant thieves. I'm adept, you're inept, you're inadequate. Leave. Commission, I said this shit a long time ago, bro, and here you go popping up. Listen.
Hebrew creation myth. Adam and Eve, please. Adam and thieves. I'm adept, you're inept, you're inadequate. Leave. You can measure me to see that the distance between us is longer than a day on Venus. You'll spend 43 days bombarded by sound waves, and the next 200 you're running.
Hold up. No, hey, don't give them no more. Don't give them no more. They gonna have to go dig, man, like I told them last time.
I ain't even got to teach. I could play music and teach all in the music. So did we learn anything? We got the Memphite theology, as my man proposed, and let's keep going. Given to us here in this instance, my recording of it is the recording of Manito. I just put it in the hip hop. So let's finish it.
So this here the knowledge they ain't trying to hear. So this here the knowledge they ain't trying to hear. See this here the knowledge they ain't trying to hear. So I ain't trying to go there. See this here the knowledge they ain't trying to hear. See this here the knowledge they ain't trying to hear. See this here the knowledge they ain't trying to hear. So I ain't trying to go there.
Just look it up, man. She telling you, just look it up, man.
Just look it up, look.
Hey, yo, Cash, man, I think we need to give him a few days.
Just look it up.
That's real, man. One thing I want brothers to look up is my man Tariq the Moor, you know what I mean? The brother left Africa in like 711 AD and took over Spain, and the Moors held down Spain to like 1492, you know what I mean? But in school, all they told us about 1492 was what? Christopher Columbus?
Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue.
You know what I mean? Please believe.
So if you got a school, you got some youngsters, you could give them this song as a lesson. Because everything I said is historically accurate. And that's how it transpired. I'm not gonna play it again. I said, if I started, so listen, like we just learning. If I started kicking knowledge, it'd probably be finito. Because I know the history as it was given by Manetho, Ptolemy, the first Soter, Philadelphus. One of them clowns asked me to pen the history of Kemet. So I wrote that down, I broke that down, I penned it in Greek so the freaks could read. They couldn't match the melanated frequency. I forgot what I said. But see, that is teaching, but let's see what I said.
So I wrote that down, I broke that down, I penned it in Greek so the freaks could read. They couldn't match the melanated frequency, but he bothered me and asked me to read the glyphs. This is what Ptolemy the first Soter did to Manetho. But he bothered me and asked me to read the glyphs, so I fathered him. You mean you sunned him? And asked me to read the glyphs, so I fathered him.
You mean you sunned him?
Yep, I told him the history.
I told him the history. Now here it go.
And here we go. I said 36,000 years ago, it was the Zep Tepi.
Now this is a good segue. Because I don't want cats to say, but that's pseudo. I said 36,000 years ago, it was the Zep Tepi. Or the first time. You see? You see the god named Ptah. The Greeks call him Hephaestus, but really he's a deification of the Twa. Ptah was infinite. That means the first man had lived forever. After Ptah was Atum Ra, who ruled for 1,000 years. See this here, that knowledge y'all ain't trying to hear. See this here, that knowledge y'all ain't trying to hear. See this here, that knowledge y'all ain't trying to hear, so I ain't trying to go there. I could just rhyme the whole show. And it's going to be the same thing. We're going to be learning. The Zep Tepi, the first time. You see the god named Ptah, the Greeks call him Hephaestus, but really he's a deification of the Twa. So you can just learn to rap and then have knowledge. Give it to the kids, tell them memorize this shit, and come back and say it to me. And he gonna walk in the room and say, You see the god named Hephaestus. You see the god named Ptah. The Greeks call him Hephaestus. Let's look that up. I'm going to say Haphaest. Yeah, there we go. You see the god named Ptah? The Greeks call him Hephaestus. Let's see if I said that right. Who give a fuck? It'll get you close enough. But really, he's a deification of Ptah. Of the Twa. And that's the truth. So let me just put Ptah. See? I just put a P and a T, and Google already know what I'm trying to show y'all. Ptah. The Greeks identified Ptah with Hephaestus, or Hephaestus, whatever. All right? I'm not saying Ptah was infinite and the first man had ruled forever. I was in the character of Manetho in the song. All right? Look. Every time, it'd be like, they do be listening, but it'd be crazy how, the first stuff that people need to see be in the first line of a Google search. We're going to go in on this mythology as given by him. Because we know the Menthite, we know this theology without the dates. But it's Manetho who gave us that mythology with the dates. And so in trying to figure it out, they was like, they couldn't have been living for that long. Like he talking about their history started at 36,000 years ago. Maybe he was, they proposed that maybe Manetho was talking about lunar years. So they started being like, they took every year and made it a month. And if you really want to know, that's how they arrive at 3100 BC. See? So archaeology is fake with the BS. I could so prove it. It's going to get you close. Divide 36,000 by 12. Let's get the calculator out. This is the other part of the knowledge that we don't be needing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Cats be like, blue, 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 blue. Then you got to show them some old ass books. Wow. Oh, I times it. I'm tripping. I just want to show y'all something. 3000 BC. You see? What they did was took the history of Manetho, where he said it started 36,000 years ago, and said, no, these are lunar years. They must be crazy. Let's divide it by 12. And this is when their history starts. You think I'm making that up? If I was a makeup artist with the stuff I got, makeup artists out here got they got their foundation, they got their eyeliner. They be on YouTube straight makeup artists, boy. These makeup artists on the internet, boy, I'm gonna sit in their chair, get prepped up for the camera. They be making stuff up, bro. So if I was a makeup artist and I was that raw, damn, I'd be raw. I'm gonna show you the 36,000 years of Manetho. Matter of fact, all I got. So they're gonna show you, this is volume 1 of his content, of Manetho's content, of his. So first of all y'all cats who got y'all smirky lips, I know so much. Listen, Manetho being not a real person, you can throw that out. Out of all your fake people in history, you can't equate Manetho to one of them, bro. You don't understand. You don't know. Manetho gave us, first of all, I keep telling y'all, cats is stupid. Don't say dynasty. Because Manetho made that up. He taught the whole world that using a Greek term that we now take into Egyptology, and we fight over the dynasties. So let's go back. And I guess I will pull up this book. It's in my old files, but I got an old email to Lord Jamar where I sent him this book. And so I know I could go into my emails and put Lord Jamar email in there and get it from like 10 years ago. So somebody asked in the chat, what was lunar? This is what happened. In his recordation of this history, Manetho's, which turned out to be true, it was the first recording we have of the decipherment of a king's list. He did it for Ptolemy. This is what I was teaching in the song. It was Ptolemy the first Soter, or Philadelphus. One of those clowns asked me, Manetho, to do the history of Kemet. So I wrote that down. I broke that down. I penned it in Greek. All right. This was Manetho. The new kingdom history. So basically, let's go back. Because, see, they tell us right here, it was Ptolemy for Philadelphia, as they say. I think it might have been Ptolemy the first Soter. I said, or Philadelphia's. Manetho copied down a list of 8 successive Persian kings beginning with Cambyses. This was true. How could a fake man, you could say somebody else did it, that's cool. I would be willing to go with that. But Josephus wasn't refuting somebody else. He was refuting a man named Manetho. And so what happens is the Greeks take over Kemet. Nobody know how to read Medu Neter. They trying to talk to the priest. The priest ain't messing with them. And they find Manetho, who's a priest who know the Medu Neter, who knows Greek, and he's willing to do what Ptolemy, either Philadelphus or the first Soter, asked him to do. Read these glyphs. So let's stop right there. At the point when people want everything to be added to the glyphs, in Manetho's recordings or accounts, Greeks had no knowledge of the glyphs yet. They didn't know. So they was looking for a priest to translate it. Manetho said, all right, I'll do it. They say about 266, between 266 and 228 BC. Sometime during that time period, it must have happened if it happened for Ptolemy Philadelphus. And so Manetho wrote down, he went to the wall and he translated a king's list. Or did he do papyri? Let's go back and look. He translated one. It might have been the Turin. Yeah, let's look. The king's list that Manetho had access to is unknown to us, but of the surviving king's list, the one most similar to his is the Turin royal canon, or the Turin papyrus. So what that mean? That mean he had a list. Either he didn't read the Turin royal canon because it ain't the same as his, but it's close to it. So he read from a king's list to the Greeks before anybody knew the history of Egypt to explain what each column was. He said, okay, look, each one of these is a dynasty. Ooh, dynastio, or whatever they called it in Greek. That dynasty. They run around doing that Greek thing. The oldest source on which we can compare the oldest source with which we can compare to Manetho's are the Old Kingdom Annals. So now, he was right. He translated the Medu Neter right. He listed the kings right. He said everything right. Josephus went in there, like, wrote another book years later, like, hold up. Let me refute Manetho. And another person named Apiam. Apiam, I think, used Manetho to bash the Jews. So Josephus wrote Contra Apiam or whatever. He played Contra on Nintendo or whatever. It just mean against or whatever. Controversy. Versy is to turn. Controversy is to turn against. So I know when I'm controversial, some of y'all gonna turn against me. I know that by the nature of understanding the word. We all know that. And so, anyway, that's just a brief. So now let's talk about, let's see if I know they ain't gonna say nothing about the 36,000 years on Wiki. So we're gonna have to find some better materials. But this is also where the concept of demigod gets injected into. See right here, look, right before I said it. It's also where the concept of demigod gets injected into, through syncretism. But where it gets injected into Kemetic, because I don't know no stories. What we do know about anthropomorphized deities, but this half man, half God thing was superimposed on Manetho's literature in order to say that the first deities that he said was kings, since he said they ruled for so long, they was like, oh, these couldn't really be kings. He must have meant like demigods. So the stories of Isis, Osiris, Set, and Horus are listed in the demigods. But that ain't what Manetho said. And so I got to find the one book that I found in the bottom of Oakland Library one day, back in the day. In the basement of the big old Oakland Library, they had this one Manetho book. And that mug had not been checked out since like close to my birthday in 1974. And when I checked it out, I was like, damn, this is a lug. Let me see if I can find it. But anyway, they took the 36,000 years Manetho described in the Zep Tepi and divided it by 12. And so you can see all the Christian scholars. This is a book, people. Let me type Lord Jamar and see if I got anything. Yep, I do. Look. Now, Egyptian grammar books. Now, but the file is in something called Sin Space. Damn. If this file is still here, that'll be dope. Possibly a download error. Damn. So I sent him Sir Alan Gardner, Egyptian grammar, and a few other things back in the day, 2011, July 10th. And when I click the link, it has expired. So it's going to be hard for me to find that Manetho book. Let me see, hold on. But y'all, everybody know I didn't make that up, so let's let Google do his work. What does this say? I can't read the list. 36,000 here and the Manetho. So somebody just going in on. All right, look. Come on, man. I'm just saying. So we're gonna find documents going over this. So the one book I'm looking for is this green book. Hold on, I'm just gonna. You know what? This is it, huh? This ain't the cover. The early history of Egypt, Herodotus, Manetho. Hold on, that ain't it. But I'm just looking to see if I can find the cover first. Somewhere. It's this old green book, bro. On Manito. It's hella good. And it was buried in the library of... It was buried in the library. Let me see Manito. Anyway, I'm just chilling. Might just open up a chat. Damn, I forgot what that book was called. Let's just see. In his history of Egypt, he said this, so I'm going to keep it moving. Yeah. I mean, everybody tell you right here, I'm not going to go in hella far, but every time I put Manito 36,000, you can just find various books talking about it. These Egyptian sources call for antiquity ranging from 24,000 to 36,000 years. Now, I don't know nothing about the source. Oh, this is pseudo man. I'm not even going to him. That's what I'm saying. But I just put up a book. I'm just doing a quick search to see if anybody is referencing that. But that book was written by pseudo man, Mr. Mustafa Gadala. But all of these books is referencing it. Just old books and blah, 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 regardless. All right. Looking for a credible author speaking on it. Anyway, you can look into more of that. Let me check the chat. See if there's anybody even out there. What junior high and high school did I go to? I went to Montera. The rawest rapper at Montera. Back when Montera and what you call it was getting into it. McChesney. All my partners went to King though. I lived on 82nd in East Oakland. But my mom wouldn't let me go to King. She wanted me to grow up and learn to do that. Yeah. I was fat when I was young. Hella fat. Let me see. I'm off Manito head though. I just was inspired about that. I was just inspired by that song, that last song I played. And I hadn't listened to no hip hop, especially Minds, in a really long time. I mean, I'll be listening to like my daily YouTube songs. But so also what Manito said about the Exodus, Josephus didn't like, and they're talking about that here. See, here's the problem. If you want to really just get some shortcuts to the back of the book, mess with me. Here go a shortcut to anybody talking about the hike soaks. And a shortcut to anybody talking about Manito. It was Manito who said that the hike soaks was a people. In ancient Egyptian texts, the hike soaks are referred to as some kings. So now my brother Asar Mka has a testament to Hikakasut that shows a group of people, and we were supposed to go in on that text and see if that Hikakasut referenced them as a people or still something that could mean that the people in the photograph are just rulers or are rulers. All right, let me see something. About to open the Zoom. Is this the I did go to UC Berkeley Library too, because you was in Mason. Oh, I used to be in the basement of UC Berkeley Library in Gardner Hall. So you know me. Gardner is Sir Alan Gardner, if I ain't mistaken. Don't they got Gardner Hall? Because I was in there all the time, in the basement of that part of the library. So much so to the librarians just start being like, man, whoever this black dude is, that dude come down. They probably was watching me on the cameras. But all I was doing was reading old Egyptian books. One of them libraries, I don't know if it's in Gardner Hall or not, but I used to be all in UC Berkeley. Now I'm trying to get my daughter into UC Berkeley. So if you went there, you're alumni, might need a recommendation letter. You went to McClimers? Oh, that's cool. Shout out to Oakland in the building. I'm glad y'all tapped in. You know, but I moved out to avoid a lot of the culture that has degenerated. When I go to Oakland now, you don't see nothing from back in the day, bro. All right, so let's go. Let me get off this. I was about to open up a Zoom chat. Shout out to anybody in the building. If you want to support the channel, you know what you could do. You could like the video. You know what else you could do? You could share it if you want to. You could look in the descriptions. Hit me off with a cash app. Because the way that support the channel is a little small, you know, with a tribute. It make you feel good, basically. It motivates you. So the people who be sending me cash apps, I appreciate you every day. You feel me? Sometimes I'll just like go buy lunch off the cash app. Like, okay, I'm not spending nothing but cash apps from the YouTube today. So that be meaning a lot. Here's a link. If anyone wants to discourse, I'm going to like keep, you know, I ain't even tripping. But what I try not to do is be like every other channel that allow us to make ourselves look a certain way when we talking to the whole entire world. We be forgetting, you know, we thinking we just talking amongst ourselves, but people from all over, all different countries and nations be watching our videos. And so when it start getting like, we can't control ourselves, I can't control myself either. You know? And so I'll be falling off. See, we got Asar M. Ka. Thank you for coming in the building. Good brother, once your audio connects, you have the floor. In the meantime, what's up with it?
Peace, famo. Man, I was raising my bow today, pulling it back, you know, thinking about the Ethiopian king and how strong he must have been.
Oh yeah, you know, he had to be really, really strong. And so that Cambyses killed his brother. He must have been so strong because when the Nubian pharaoh taunted Cambyses, like, check this out, bro. See, the Nubian pharaoh caught them spies leaking, them Persian spies leaking, and he said, look, I'm not even gonna kill you. See, this is what I be trying to say. And when you the king, what you gonna do when you catch the spies? Is you gonna make them just become servants? Is you gonna kill them? Or is you gonna be as swift as the Nubian pharaoh or king, we call them kings, I'm gonna say Nisu, that my brother just referenced. When Cambyses thought was hard enough, if I'm not mistaken, we're gonna look that up too, thought he was hard enough to run up on the Nubians, he caught the spies, the Nubians just gave him a bow. Said, check this out, homie. Take this bow back to your king or whoever sent you and tell him, first of all, he better be lucky that we ain't got the heart to take no more land. And secondly, if he wants some land, tell him to run up on us when he's strong enough to pull back the string of this bow.
Yo.
You feel me? So the spies took the bow back to Cambyses. And I got to look this story up now. This is a tale recorded by Herodotus. In my memory, it is Cambyses. But
Seculus.
Okay. Yeah, it's recorded by Herodotus too. Yeah. Oh yeah, but you saying this tale is recorded by Diodorus Siculus or Siculus? Okay, great. Well, so when they got the bow, he couldn't pull it back, Cambyses. But His brother grabbed it and he could. So Cambyses got jealous and killed his brother because he thought that he was going to take the throne. And so I love you for dropping that lug, my brother. You feel me?
What's up, James?
Peace, James. How you doing?
Brothers.
All is well. Can't complain. How are you today?
Man, I'm all right. I was on the pseudo killers last night, right?
Uh-oh, they back in action. Pseudo killers on the rise.
It was crazy, right? Because, so you had did something on the, is that the Israel Stella? You said that they need to change it to the
Syrian.
Sumer
Oh,
Stella?
yeah. I ain't, I'm just researching live. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. So I didn't get a chance to peep that whole video that you did on that. So I was really unfamiliar, but I had heard that it was a dispute with that particular text, right?
It definitely is.
So I interject, right? Because they always trying to act like Egypt, they always trying to act like that these particular texts gives them validity, right? But that's just Europeans searching for the validity, because without Egypt's mention, they are non and void, right? So I was saying this, and then so Google Scholar said, I said, man, it's only one instance of an Israel in the Egyptian text. So he come back with refutation to say that it's another text in the Amarna letters, right? So I looked, we can go look this stuff up. So
well, we can just stop right there, because we got knowledge of the Amarna text, and there's no writing in ancient Egyptian.
That's what I tried to
Thank you.
Man. I tried to, but they try to play me like I'm new to it, right? Because I don't read the language. So I'm like, yo. So he said that it was another mention of Israel in that text. So I go and look up the Amarna letters, and they're not talking about Israel. They're talking about the Hebrew, right?
Hebrew, yep.
Yeah. See, so they're not even mentioning Israel in that text. They're mentioning the Hebrew, which they're trying to make them the Hebrews, right?
Right.
Am I off here?
No, you right.
Yeah, so I just hate, when we're trying to learn and then somebody will interject some false information into the conversation to try to get you off of the truth. That's what happened last night. But anyway, I just wanted to get that out because my last night's studies, right? I had to go and find out from I said, I'm gonna go look this up. Anytime somebody says something, we got the ability now to go and verify. And that's what I did. So I don't want to interject and interrupt what you brothers was talking about.
No, we chilling.
People to hear that, what I found and how incorrect last night those brothers were. But anyway, we get back to it.
We often are.
I wanted to know how far, because they said, man, Smash, he ain't gonna agree with you. So I was like, how far south do you think that civilization go? Or would you say they really don't know because they never got into the Tyria Island?
Which civilization?
Well, we know that the nucleus, they try to take the Nubians out of the nucleus of the civilization and just say it was just pure Egyptians. But what I'm saying, I'm counting both of those civilizations together, and I'm saying, how far south would you say they go?
Nubian and Egyptian civilization, how far south do they go?
Yeah, how far south would you say basically the Nubian civilization? Because how far south would you say they went?
I would say the Khoi people, and then I would say they're probably the founders of Tanis.
Okay, what is that modern day?
Tanis is still what do they call Tanis now? I think that's because ain't that the I have researched it before. I did a discussion on it. Tanis is it's like it translates to Khoi or something like that. If I'm not mistaken, its original term was called Khoi land, or Kasut or something like the Khoi something.
What is Tanis?
Tanis is like a town in Lower Egypt.
Can you spell that?
Tanis.
Yeah, I heard of Tanis, but I thought you was trying to say Tanis or Tanis. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm trying to go further than Egypt, where I'm talking about in Sudan or Uganda.
Yeah, I'm going further
you say
than
go
that.
to Uganda, Tanzania, like how far? I'm talking about in modern terms.
That's what I'm
How
telling
far
you.
would you say it went?
Yeah. So remember
Ethiopia, did it stop there? Like, or would you say we don't know?
no. So remember, the Khoi people are from down south, like around Tanzania area. Remember the big, large snake?
So hold up. You saying that they found
Talking about
Egyptian
the Khoi.
artifacts that far south is what you're saying?
I'm
Or
thinking
what proof do we have that's how far south they go?
I'm thinking that those are those people migrating down north towards Greece.
Okay.
I don't know about that, but I think the way we addressing what he asked is switching it up, and it's gonna box you in more. Geographically, I wouldn't be able to identify the people, but how far would you say the culture went down? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like geographically.
How far did it reach? I'm gonna say that.
So how far is that? What's that region?
Tanzania.
Okay.
Now hold on, brother.
Khoisan.
Do we have any documentation of the culture going that far?
That was what he said. I would say the furthest that we got documentation that I know of would be around Napata, maybe a little further down. I'm talking about where we got ancient Egyptian writings.
Okay,
but the question, hold on, the question can't just be answered like that because we have to keep time periods in mind. And so normally, at what time period are you asking?
Well, I don't really have a time period. I was just talking about maybe artifacts that we could pretty much use as documentation. I know Jebel Barkal is about, as far as I know, that's one of the furthest south places that we go. But I was wondering if you guys had any knowledge of anything further south.
Let's see. Go ahead.
The site of the ancient Khoi.
Napata's further south than Jebel Barkal.
Right.
Oh,
this is because
let's look and see.
So located in the center of Egypt's Nile Delta, Khoi was a bustling metropolis that provided fine wines and luxury goods to the ancient Egyptians, founded around 3400 BC. Khoi thrived until 400 AD, serving as Egypt's capital for much of its history and as a major site for a historic battle. The modern city of Saka is now thought to be the site of ancient Khoi. This is because the Greek name is written hieroglyphically as Kasut or Kasu'u, which was the main city of Lower Egypt's sixth septa or city-state or nome. It was mentioned by an officer named Metin, who served during the reign of King Seneferu, the first ruler in the 4th dynasty. Then it talks about the historic battle in Khoi was between Ramses III and the Sea Peoples and their allies from Libya, which occurred around 1178 BC. And then it goes in further. Significance of Khoi. For centuries after this notable victory, Khoi remained prosperous as a center of commerce, refinement, and culture. It was also notable as a center of worship for the Egyptians. The combination of commerce, culture, and religion made Khoi a very wealthy city and thrived for millennia and dramatically impacted Egyptian history. Its nobility founded Egypt's 14th dynasty, 1650 BC, when Amos defeated the Hyksos. These became the capital instead of Khoi.
Here's I'm sorry. Keep going.
The city of Khoi was responsible for 76 kings, as reported by Manetho, an Egyptian historian who lived during the 3rd century BC, which is what he was just talking about earlier. Khoi remained an immensely popular and successful city, famous as a center of worship as well as for its wines and luxury merchandise. Some scholars theorize that Khoi is mentioned by the prophet Nahum when he warns the people of Nineveh of their imminent destruction. And it talks about the decline of Khoi. But it's just,
all right.
It was funny to me that it was XOIS, the same as the Khoi sign. And then I had something on the excavation, and then there was a couple articles I had pulled up. I did a debate with a gentleman and just put the connections together. And then some of their mythos lined up.
I was wondering, was that with the people you was talking about in Southern Africa? Because that's the only Khoi people that I know of.
Exactly.
Maybe I'm tripping, but
no, you're right. That's what I saw. That's what I think. And then I had the excavation. I want to say the excavation confirmed some of them there. I just can't remember where the info is. But when
That's a
you just
town.
asked,
That's a town
yeah,
called Koi in the borders of Kemet.
yeah, it was called Koi, and later the Greeks called it Kasut and Kasutu.
So you saying that got something to do with the modern day people called the Koi?
Right, the ancient people. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, they were called that in ancient times.
Yep.
Okay. So what I find right here is just looking at, I just was Googling all of the areas we know down there. Obviously, it looks like from what I pulled up that Merowe was the southmost part that we could find written attestations to Egyptian culture. I think that is it's further south than Jebel Barkal, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, that's pretty interesting. You said what was the name of that?
Merowe or Moreau is further south than Jebel Bark. Now, if we go to
now where would this Merowe be at in modern terms? Like what that still would be?
It's still
Sudan?
right there. It's still right
would
there.
That still be in Sudan?
In the Sudan, and so we have it here.
Now, the reason why they were trying to trip me up on this because I was saying, for my own person, I'm not saying you or anybody else says this, but I was saying that the Ethiopians were the modern Egyptians.
You were saying,
that's what I was saying, that those the Ethiopians that they're terming Ethiopians now, they were once in the north of they were in Egypt at that time and they got pushed down. They're saying that didn't happen.
Where did you get that from?
Well, that's just me just looking at everything that has went on and then just kind of like subsupposing this is my own thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I got this from anybody. This is because, something just doesn't make sense about where did the people go. And the only people that I can say that looks different from the Sudanese may be the Ethiopians because, or the Ethiopian type just up in the northern eastern part of it.
Actually, no.
Okay, so what do you say? Oh, I thought he said he was talking to him. I thought the source said no.
I won't say nothing about that because it's hard for me to weigh in on everything, and I ain't qualified to do so. Then we just start having them YouTube arguments. Where I do have facts and attestations of who they were, is like the body of work I try to stick to. Like we could go look up ancient Egyptian writings in Meroe or Merowe and date them and whatever. We could start going down the Nile to see how far the culture has spread. But it didn't spread this far, so-called, I don't think, at a really, really early time period. I think it was later in the history where we start finding certain type of things.
And I would suppose that's because they got pushed down, because like even after Egypt had failed, that culture lives in the South, right? Until the AD period.
Well, some people try to say no, but when the pharaohs of the 26th dynasty at least got pushed out by the invading culture, there indeed was a migration back south.
Mm-hmm.
And we know this, but some people say only the kings went back. So I'm like, you saying they went by themselves? If their whole stuff was getting ran over, some people might have chose to stay and live under the new rulership of this foreign dictators, or some people might have cut. Same like,
Mm-hmm.
So
like we see in what is that, Ukraine right now?
Exactly. You see what I mean?
Bounced and went to Poland and everywhere else. You got millions of people in Poland. You got some in the United States and neighboring countries because they're fleeing war.
Exactly.
So but they act like that doesn't happen in ancient times. That only happened now. You know what I'm saying?
I don't
famine.
know.
People don't leave areas because of famine, or they just stay there. You know what I mean?
Well, if you take the Vikings and how they get the Rus name when they're as travelers, and how they settle in Russia and it becomes Russia, there's an example of ancient times. In your hands right there.
Mm-hmm.
Vikings are the Russians. That's part of their history. So you see a people who travel and who end up there, and some of them end up in Germanic locations as well, but most of them the settlement is in Russia.
Right. Like you can't use we can't use anything modern when we're trying to pose an argument. So they was like, well, yeah, they lost their culture. What happened to them?
Man.
I said, well, if you look at the Mexicans right now, they're speaking Spanish.
Everything,
that's not the
everything we state or discuss needs to be preambled with what time period we talking about. It will help us so much with each question we ask, because we never have to go over like 3,000 or more years of history. You know what I'm saying? And so like that question could be addressed different in various different time periods. So let's address your question in the 12th dynasty. Then when Simroset set up a border stela at below the second cataract, this border would contradict everything people say about the conflict between Nubians and Egyptians. Because the border being below the second cataract during his family's rule mean that the people of Tasseti and all of the Nahesi area were now included by him in Egypt. So then when he's saying Nahesiu don't cross this line, he not even talking about the people that people be referencing. He talking about people south more than the people in the areas of Nubia. Still calling them Nahesi, but it's clear that when he stretched the borders or whatever was done to take up that area, the people who lived in those, this is just as if we went into it with Mexico and then Mexico takes Texas back. The people in Texas that were originally American, DNA don't change. You see what I'm saying? What makes them a man, their consistency don't change. Now they're just under a new ethnic group or what have you, a new polity, a new rule. And so at that time, the people didn't change. The people didn't change when Simroset dynasty took over. He just stretched the border down, which is a good argument against many of the new pseudo claims. One, that we should just settle for what the Arabs said was the land of the blacks, and that's the Sudan. Well, if Simroset set his border halfway to the second cataract, halfway to the third cataract, then all the areas that we're discussing are as the land of the blacks during his family's rule were included in Egypt.
Yep.
Right. And that third cataract, you're talking about from the Nubian from 1, 2, 3. You're talking about going the opposite way, right? You know, because when you look at the gnomes or the cataracts or whatever you call it, it starts at 1 and then it starts going a different way for Egypt, but then it starts going a different way for Nubia.
The numbering of gnomes goes north from the way we know it, and the numbering of cataracts goes south. So the first cataract is Northmore from our orientation.
South.
Can you pull
I'm talking about from our orientation. The first cataract is Northmore. The sixth cataract is Southmore. You see what I mean? Like if you just look up a map, let me show what I mean.
Yeah.
The first cataract, I say the first cataract between the third cataract, that's lower Nubia. And then the third to the fifth, that's upper Nubia.
Yeah, and so it's the opposite with the naming of the gnomes. The from our orientation, the Southmore gnome was the first one, and the Northmore, it goes up to like 22, then it changes into Lower Egypt and starts over.
Mm-hmm. Right, because I think there's 13 Nubian septots or gnomes, and they're in it starts in the south of the Sudan and marches north.
See, I've never heard of 13 gnomes in Nubia. I've only heard about 5 or 6.
13 gnomes? What you mean? Ain't it like 42?
13.
Wait, what?
No, I'm talking about just in Nubia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Nubia. We talking.
He's saying it's just 13 gnomes. Saying it's 13 gnomes in Nubia. What I'm saying is I never heard of, by far as I've seen them go as 6 gnomes.
Well, the gnome number 11 is called Nubet.
Right. There's 13.
Where that map at? You know what I'm saying? The map that they got with.
Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up.
Yeah. but there's 13 in Nubia. And then remember, the claim is that there used to be 72 in Egypt, and that kept shrinking down, and it stopped at 42. And when you start to get to the 42, you get the bottom of Nubia is the top of Egypt, and then you start going towards Greece, towards the north.
So let's address some of the stuff in the chat. Somebody said, Social said, Smash ain't qualified to conclude on what that said. I kind of agree with that. That's why I've reached no conclusions. My process ain't about to be like arguing y'all to death and falling out with y'all because of what I think it say. Because that ain't it. I know the process. First, I'm going to put together my work, and then I'm going to submit it to one PhD. If I can't get past him, I don't think I feel like I need to even try to submit it to no more of academia. But if a person could tell me their stance on that, then I would go further. But as far as qualifications are concerned, it depends on how you qualify people. I have no certifications, but if I could be qualified by knowledge, then everything that I say is highly qualified. I always give you source material. And when we're in the realm of a translation that is the only occurrence, supposedly, of a term, you know what I'm saying, then everyone is out in the wilderness because no one has any source material to corroborate their claims. There's no other, that word is in no other places. So even the most qualified scholars are still in the same area when dealing with that scholarship. But I don't disagree with Socha if he made such a claim. That ain't how I'm coming at it. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to put that.
I mean, we can always work it out though. Like somebody said, Vikings aren't Russian. So I know you didn't do your homework yet. But you can click that link I just dropped for you in there if you didn't know what Russ turns into and who becomes Vikings. So yeah, some stuff, is just gonna be from people, they talk, but they don't do research. But I like that they talk because that shit hard presses to make us let's dig down deep. Let's see if what you're saying is true. But the Syria, I can almost guarantee we've got to be 100% right concerning that, because it's got Syria right behind it. I believe they would be the only people on that stela who don't have a land. But the land is right behind them. If it's Israel on the Marinette Ptah stela, they would be the only people on that stela that don't have a land. Even though it says Syria, and we see Syria, Koru, right behind it. So it just sounds like a reach from the scholars. And then send it to your paper to as many scholars as you can, because of two things. Remember, some of them have an agenda. Like Bob Breyer, where I did a Medu Netra class with him and his other class on burial, because that's what he's known for, the mummification information. And he tries to hold on to that Israel thing tough, but even he says it. He says this is what, and I played it for when we was having a discussion on it. I played it for him. He says, here Israel doesn't have a land. They don't even have a land on here, and it says they're destroyed. So he knew, and I think he just was kind of holding on because he's Jewish. So
interesting. Well, I mean, where I was at in the research is trying to find Winnie used that way. Last night I sat up for a minute with Jay Mill looking through erratic papyri where this un or this win. And we also just zoomed through this text to note the use of double reed leaves. Most all of the I'm gonna go through it again and just write down the stats, but most all of the use of the double reed leaves in this text are in suffix, you feel me? And they use it twice in this text to just say its own word, e, like to come or whatever, or ye or whatever. The one with the legs and some reed leaves. Yeah.
See, that's why I came on, because you guys found an instance where something was left out. And then I have Selden, who shows when the W is left out and when the T is left out, and why the scribes omitted. I was going to pull up that rule for you. That's why I hopped on, because I finally got to see you y'all on there early this morning.
I'm about to beat up the pseudo killer real quick. Shout out
So
to the
why
pseudo,
don't
you know.
Asar put forth a rebuttal as to why it's not Israel? We were. I'm on the video.
So so we got catchphrases, right?
Right.
Let me tell you one. He made that up. That's a catchphrase in the conscious community that got caught on like an idiom. Somebody need to go trademark it and put it on their shirts. Here go another one. I don't believe you.
Right.
See, these ain't really scholastic replies. They just catchphrases in the conscious community. You feel me? That ain't scholastic. I don't believe you. What have I showed that requires belief? Huh? Nothing. We ain't conjected too much. We showing you the words, whether it means Syria or not. No one's denying that that's a S, a Y, a R, a I, and a A. You see?
He would have to prove. He would have to hop on the show saying stuff like that and show why that rule, which they conveniently skip over throughout the Stella, including on that line, doesn't apply to the double reed leaves right before it in another sentence. And they can't do that.
Yeah, and so for anyone who don't believe us, we can just go to the dictionary and show each letter. Like, I can show you that. Then I can show you how the double reed leaf should be attached to the word in front. You just gonna have to be saying, damn. You can know enough just to look at this by opening up any ancient Egyptian dictionary. This portion right here, which I can show you better if I pull up my rapgod.wordpress.
Go ahead, fam. Here go another one. He just typed in 504 times. Go get that.
Yep. Talking about the sources now. Hey, bro, go get that, bro. You said you had a source. Go get that. Know the catchphrases that's really just like, a mixture of what we know in street culture that really ain't academic. I don't believe you ain't academic, pseudo killers. Come harder with your contentious. You know how I gets it in, bro. We got angles over here, bro. I'll beat that angle up all day. I don't believe. Feel me? Funny. Ain't nothing to believe.
I wanted to show you the rule. I got it pulled up too.
Okay, let me
real quick
make it so anyone can share their screen. Hold on.
Because you and Jay was going in a bit. I just caught that this morning too.
Multiple participants can share. Yeah, he be keeping me on point. You feel me? So I could argue my pseudo arguments in private before I put them out. You know what I'm saying?
Let me blow it up nice and big. Let me center it. Come here, girl. So this is declension concerning masculine and feminine, singular, dual, and plural. We'll just skip right to it. As with the ending T of the feminine singular, this is the feminine T singular right here, this bread loaf.
Real quick, what book are you reading out of?
This is Selden's Egyptian Grammar. And hold up, I'll go to the top so y'all can see it. Hieroglyphic Egyptian, an introduction to language and literature of the Middle Kingdom, Daniel L. Selden. And then we'll just skip right back to 60.
Okay.
As with the ending T of the feminine singular, know everybody, this bread loaf that I'm hovering over, this here, this is the feminine singular. The grammatical terminations for the dual and plural are regularly written before the determinatives. What did we just say? If you're talking about dual, like two brothers here, or plural, brothers here, or sisters, before you see the determinative telling you what they're talking about, like this man here for brothers, this man here for brothers, and this woman here for sisters, and this woman here for sisters, you're going to see the grammatical termination of the T or the W. Let's see. This is singular. It's not there. This is plural. S, n, nu. There it is right there, the quell chick. Plus you have two strokes showing it's more than one. And here's the determiner. Here it is again. You got s, n, you've got the quell chick showing plural. And then you know they're talking about men, brothers. Same thing for women. They've got the quell chick here, and then the feminine T. Both of these, the plural and the dual, and the feminine genitive come before this determinative. That's all they're saying right there.
Okay, stop. You know, I ain't no meta reader, right? So come on, slow down for the people that don't understand. Now, I see the two strokes to mean the plural, but on those last ones, how do you know? You know, for the brothers on the last line and then the sisters on the last line, there's no strokes to identify that. What's making it plural is what I want to ask.
One more thing before you explain. Can you please blow your document up for the people who are looking on their phones, if you don't mind? Yeah. Thank you. And go ahead.
That big enough, you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot better. If that's all the screen we got, that's fine.
I could get bigger. I just couldn't see the whole screen. I got to scroll over. Yeah,
no, that's cool. That people can see. Yeah, there you go. That's perfect.
Okay. So how we know it's plural? When you see this quell chick at the end of a word, you know they're talking generally in plurals. You know they're talking plural, or they're talking dual. So here is sinu, and the quell chick lets you know that it's more than one, just as I was saying there. So sinu means brothers. Here we have sinu, we. See how the WJ is at the end, really like an I at the end. This is sinu we for two brothers.
So let's stop right there. The difference between those glyphs is that Y that let us know the difference between plurality and like that is two brothers when they put a Y after the plurality, but the one at the bottom, after the W, but the one at the bottom don't got a Y, so it can be any amount of brothers. You see what I'm saying?
So here's the
quote. Hold on, you mean W, not Y, right?
The one at the bottom doesn't have a Y. It looks like a J, so let me just say a J, because in this transliteration scheme, they put a J there. But that represents the Y sound. You shouldn't say J. That's just a transliteration scheme that uses a J there.
So we're not going to say senwej. This is senwi.
Okay.
And these two strokes he's talking about, see, you have the plural with the quell chick, as we were talking about before, or the dual in this particular case. And then you have the two strokes defining what this determiner is, right? This determiner is a brothers, and this is how many? 1, 2. Here, we don't know how many brothers. So we just have the quell chick to show you it's not a sin. See how up here it's a sin? It's one brother. Up down here it's sinu, brothers. It becomes plural because of the quell chick. You got that?
Yeah, I got it.
Now, when we're talking feminine genitive instead of masculine, this is masculine on this left side. This is feminine on the right side. We use this bread loaf here. So it says sin net. This is a sister. And you have her determiner here. Remember, as with the ending T, talking about this here, of the feminine singular, talking about this here, the grammatical terminations for the dual and plural are regularly written before the determinative, this woman right here, or that brother over there, right? That's all they're saying. Here you have it again, sin, e. two sisters. Why is it two sisters? The same way, same reason this was two brothers. And I'll just scroll over a little bit. This is two brothers because the two strokes. This is two sisters because after the bread loaf, feminine genitive ending, we have two strokes, making it senti. And here's the determiner of what is two of, right? So there you have it. So over here, we have the same thing, but this is sister, so it's more than two. So it's senu, and you know that because of this quail chick again, u, w, or u, and then the t, the bread loaf. This makes it plural. This is just the feminine genitive ending, letting you know it's a feminine word.
So in English, when we see a S always at the end of words, we think plural.
Yes.
You see? That's the same as us looking at Medu Nature and seeing the quail chick, which represents the oo sound. The same way we say brother or we add a S, they'll say sin or add a oo or sinu. I just wanted to make that clear for people.
Yes. It's like this would be our singular. These, those. Just as Smash reiterated right there, the same thing. Now here goes the part that I wanted you to see, because it had to do with what you guys were looking at the other night. In transliteration, the suffixes are added directly to the root. This means that in the masculine plural, the W is written directly after the root in the transliteration. When they say the root, they're talking about the root word. In the feminine plural, however, the W comes before the final T. Hence, sin becomes sinu, but sinet becomes sinwet, as we see right here above. Sinu, and then you see sinet. That's what that rule is I just read. In the feminine plural, however, the W comes before the final T. And you see the quail chick right here comes before this final T. Where in the masculine form, as it pointed out, it just says senu. It just ends with the quail chick because it's masculine. Feminine, you're gonna see a T after it shows its plural, its plurality, meaning sisters. You're going to see the feminine T come after it shows that it's sisters, and it'll end right here. Sin, u, t. And sinut is that T is the difference between it being women and men in this particular case, brothers and sisters. Let's go down a little further. And this now we get to omitting stuff and taking stuff out. Many scribes omit the W from their writing of the dual and plural forms, perhaps because the consonant was weak. From the 18th dynasty on, moreover, the writing of the feminine plural almost always lacks the W, so that the feminine singular and feminine plural look exactly alike. For example, and then it gives these examples. So Smash, when you guys were looking at those, you noticed that it started to lack the W, or it lacked the plural portion of it, because it says the consonant was weak. It also goes on to say, and this is what I was telling concerning another meme back in the day. I was saying you can't tell the difference between some words unless you have the sentence in context. If you don't have the sentence in context, you won't know what the word is. You won't know whether it means sister or sisters, or daughter or daughters. And case in point, we'll look at some, right? So here it goes right here. Only context, a sentence, a syntax, can distinguish between the last two forms in transliteration. It is preferable to place the omitted W in parentheses to help clarify the form. You see this W in parentheses to help you understand what's going on when we transliterate it into English. Now, without context, you can't tell the difference between this and that, sisters here. You see how it's written? From this one here, Sanut, plural, sisters. So I need a sentence to define the difference between the two. You can't tell the difference between Sa'at, this daughter, or Saut, daughters, because they look the exact same. So I have to read the sentence in order to know how to interpret this spelling of daughter or daughters, sister or sisters. And that was part of your discussion. Why was I think it was the W.
It was the Y. It's the Y, but we found a similar teaching that shows the exact same thing. In Gardner's work, we went over that. And so, yep. You still got the floor.
I'm off. Let me step down.
Oh yeah, that was cool. That was a good teaching, and you was very prolific in detailing that. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. So I'm just, what was I at? Oh, I was giving a response to the pseudo killers. I don't believe, this is what we do. If we don't got people in the chat putting up comments and, like this, we won't make for less content. So I welcome any type of questions like that. So I'm gonna go back here and ask them, I'm gonna walk them through this slowly. Oh, this is the wrong document, excuse me. As we walk through this slowly, I want people to say any type of refutation they could give. We already dealt with Syria wasn't called Syria before that on the show yesterday by whipping out the two scholarly documents that show us that in the Luwian hieroglyphs, they didn't distinguish first between Syria and Assyria. That's more of a modern political thing, as we learn. And Greeks did not distinguish between Assyria and Syria. And they had a location called Syrioi. And some people they had Syria, they had Syr, and they had Syr, and they had actually Syrioi, which was a people and not necessarily a place that were of Lukka, Lukka. And so this Syrioi people could indeed be the same people called Syria, because they have a people determinative here on the stele. Once I find it, here we go. So this is just, and it might be more blurry, but it's an older version of that portion of the text when I was doing some homework a while ago. And so for anybody like, I don't believe you, cool. Don't believe me. I'm about to baby walk you through this. This is what we call lacing your boots in the town. So I'm about to lace your boots since you don't know how to tie your own shoes. You could grab these tools and do exactly what I'm doing and verify this for yourself. So I'm gonna just show how easy it is to do. The one I've been using lately is the old school book on Heradic, right?
Smash, it's not showing in the Zoom.
Oh, okay. Thanks for saying that, bro. I'm about to share that as soon as I find this source real quick for the people. Should be very easy. Or I could just go. I don't need that. I could just go. And then let me make it show in the Zoom. And we're going to walk through this heckin' easy, man. So I'm just pulling up a chart so everyone can see as we do this again. We're going to look at, first of all, the glyph The two glyphs that make a combination, the double reed leaves that they're using, and I'm going to show all of this. Y'all can see it in the Zoom now?
Yep.
Okay, my daughter's back home. They chill.
Where I can't.
Nope.
I don't
I'm
see
sorry.
nothing.
Nope.
Oh, okay,
It
my
still
bad.
ain't in there. I was on this thing.
Let me see. Dang, why are they
There you go. It look like it's.
It's gray, but it still ain't there. Hold on. Virtual camp. Now it's there. Okay, great. So I'm just looking for, see, that's why instead of doing this, I should have pulled up the link I was looking for. But just for a second. Here we go. This is what I've been using. A brief introduction to hieratic. Just because of the times and really because of the chart that they have in here. So it's easy to show people without going to wiki. You know what I'm saying? And so first and foremost, let's just take notice of this. This ZS, let me give it some explanation. This symbol right here was used as a Z in the Old Kingdom. In Middle Egyptian and at about the times of the text that we're looking at, it is a S. All right. Y'all see these double boats? You can see that. James, stay with me if you can so if any confusion, if you can come off mute.
Yeah, I'm right
All
here.
right. So that's that S. You see that S right there?
Right.
I'm going to take us back to the portion of the text that's supposed. Now, here's my argument. When parsing these words, this that is parsed in red right now or separated into red is what scholars say says Israel. I have an argument that they're parsing the words wrong and that these double reed leaves should be suffixed on this word. You see this bunny rabbit right here?
Yeah. Yeah, I see it.
And then the N, there is a word with win, but it could also have double reed leaves on the end. Winnie. Now, what Asar was just showing that it could be a W in there, making it winui, which means beings or people. And we can find that definition easy and look it up in a dictionary like we have many a times, W-N-I. I'm going to do all of the steps so that people can't be lost, especially the pseudo killers, because it ain't nothing to believe me about. Show me what part of this requires you to believe me. All right, look. So right now we're seeing exactly what I want us to see, right? And here we see a word, and we learned that he have a W. This dictionary put a W at the end. Well, we clearly see there's no W on the same word, which could be proposed, and as well as there's no determinative on the stele at that point for the people. Well, let's be clear that it says Winnie right here, and it has Winenu or Winenu EU, whatever, for people or mankind. So my argument is this is the word, a bunny rabbit, a N, and two reed leaves. Now this is just the determiner, the determinative or the classifier at the end. Now, you see that bunny? You see that N and these two reed leaves? That's my argument. Now here's the deal. I'm going against people who have a word right here in red that cannot be found nowhere in the Egyptian text corpus. And they're saying it says Israel. Now, to strengthen this argument, I'm going to go back to YouTube and type ancient Egyptian. And when I did this yesterday, it took us right to the portion of the video that everyone needs to
heart here, and you would
understand. And so, was you hearing that audio when he started talking?
No, I don't hear anything. If you're
all right, I got it. So I'm going to share my screen in the Zoom so that you guys hear the audio. And this is one little, for the pseudo killers, look how well and easily this is explained. Follow everything we going under. I showed y'all that S, but I shouldn't have showed y'all that yet. Click and share screen, sound. All right, so here we have, I forgot the scholar's name. He's from the Orient Institute. It doesn't say his name on here, so I can't cite that. He's from the Oriental Institute, and he's about to give us a little bit of information on this logo when we read Medu Neter symbols as whole words. And I played this yesterday, but I'm just going to play a little bit of it. Check this out, y'all. Can you hear the audio? Listen.
And each word is using a combination of those signs.
So here he goes.
So this maybe simplest way to write words in Egyptian is you can use logograms. So you can use the picture of the item for that item. So for example, upper left, you see an image of a heart, and you can use that. These logograms are often, but not always, used with the stroke. So the stroke underneath it is sort of just to tell you, hey, this is a logogram. So
let's log that in our knowledge of Medu Neter. The stroke underneath it is to tell us, hey, this is a logogram. Sometimes that means that this is a word and not a letter. Sometimes they could use logograms that mean it could be a word and not a letter, and they don't even have to put the single stroke. But when they put the single stroke, we should know that it's a word and not a letter. Let's this again.
The picture of the item for that item. So for example, upper left, you see an image of a heart, and you can use that. These logograms are often, but not always, used with the stroke. So the stroke underneath it is sort of just to tell you, hey, this is a logogram. So the heart here, and you would read Yib, the Egyptian word for heart. Underneath that, the arm, you would just read Ah, the Egyptian word for arm, the house sign, pair for house, and etc. So you can just use this.
So his etc. is what we're concerned with today. This one up here, which is a mouth, which is or ra, or ray, whatever, and then we have a single stroke under it. He's teaching us the standard Egyptological rules. So ain't nothing to believe me about on this one, pseudo killers. I'm just showing y'all an application of it. So let me show you the application of it. You see this?
Hold on, Smash. Can we get a link to that right there? That video, that's pretty good.
Yep. You watched this video? And
no, I haven't got a chance to see that one.
If you watch this video, it'll take away a lot. You'll know all the basics before you know the language of the things that people shouldn't say.
That little line up under there, that was beautiful. I mean, just so now I know that if I see a line, that's the whole word. You don't have to, because you're saying that without that line, they can be letters, but you don't necessarily need that line. I don't know how y'all can determine without the line, but that's pretty interesting because I see what you're talking about.
So that's very interesting. Move it for even outside of this word, but right? See this line right here? So let me explain a few things. First of all, he's explaining the rules of Middle Egyptian. As the language progresses, new things happen, and we're examining that phenomenon as we speak. This is about the 19th dynasty. So first, let's point out that they parsed this word with the inclusion of this logogrammic stroke and this R right here, which they tell us with the rules of Middle Egyptian grammar, this should be its own word, right? And so this would be a phrase, so to speak, or the people, or whoever, whatever this is, and then we got the determinatives for a throw stick and people. It's not a land, it's some people somewhere. So when we come over here, we see a single stroke under a recumbent lion. Now notice here, the recumbent lion at this time period could be used for a L or not. But what they wanted us to do is not say a L. They really wanted us to pronounce a lion right here. What is a lion called in Medu Neter? Ru. So now we know this phrase is Koru. Nevertheless, Koru is a place, and this word Ru in this instance is being used as a logogram to complete a one word. It's not making a phrase. We know that this is koru. But what they're telling us about a logogrammic stroke is not to see it as a L or to just say ru, which is a lion. So if I go to the dictionary to prove it, it's because I don't want nobody who don't believe me. I'm going to type a R and a W. R and a W, ru. I got to put, so when you're doing that, whole words in case sensitive, and it should take us to a lion pretty soon. So whenever we see ru, you're going to see that lion right there, right? But I want you to see where ru actually means lion when they got the stroke. See, they got the stroke. So they talking about a lion right now.
So hold up, Smash. It don't matter where they put the stroke at, long as the stroke is there. Because I see it here, it's on the top of the
Yeah. Well, then that's just a different dictionary entry. They could put it above it, or behind it. Yeah.
Does it make a difference if it's on the top or bottom?
It don't make a difference in this instance. It could confuse you if this was a vertical text. You might think that single stroke meant for what was above it. But we see that when in the dictionary definition, they give us ru for the lion. So now I'm about to put koru in here. I'm going to put an X, a R, and a W, and it's going to take us to Syria eventually. So first of all, I'm showing y'all the back door. Like, what I mean is, it already say Syria on the same line. But that's when they talking about, they say it the ancient Egyptian way, and maybe it's not a capital X. I'm gonna put it back with a lowercase x.
Yeah,
X.
it was, yes. And you do know for us the history. You do know too. The word Syria is it's a play on the word Assyria or a sea or a sword. You know what I'm saying? Because the area was part of the Syrian Empire, the Middle Empire and the Neo Empire.
Exactly. But some people say it would be a mistake to say they're talking about Syria because those are two different places. Well, that's two different places in our history when we go to study right now. But if you look in the ancient history, the Greeks made no distinction between Syrians and Syria.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Assyria was.
We agree.
We agree.
Assyria had its own capital, but that its empire and its borders reached to Assyria. It was still part of their empire.
Mm-hmm. You're 100% correct.
Yeah, and they refer to it as Levant in particular. They would designate same way they do Nubia, and when we say Nubia, we always think, oh, it's a place. It's just one place.
No, it's an area. It's a region. You got different king. Like I don't even like when I use Nubia, I go into the nuances. Like I speak of the sea people, the Kerma, Kerma people is a whole different people. Even when we talk about Kushites, we're talking about the people in Napata. You know what I'm saying?
They don't say Kas. They don't say Taseti. They don't say what's the other Nahesi. All those are locations within the area of Nubia, and this is the same way. Assyria is a location. Syria is a location within the kingdom of Assyria, and in the beginning portions of it, it was called Syria, and it was also called Assyria. And
during that period. Because even when you go way back to like 300 BC, it used to be Ebla. You know what I'm saying? Where the Ebelites at and shit. It was a whole lot. It was different places throughout history, but during this time, it definitely would have been known as a part of the Assyrian Empire. You know what I'm saying, or a sub part of the Assyrian Empire, or whatever.
Yeah, why Smash doing
spell
this?
Spell it with KH. I think the K. Spell it KHOR real quick. Or
well, I thought the KH don't transliterate in this dictionary, so I'll put it in there. KHOR.
Yeah, so these Hebrew people that they're talking about, who are they? Or are they the Hebrews, or that's just something they're supposing to try to write themselves in history?
That's them trying to suppose and say, oh, see, and this is why Smash is going over this rule with the R, because they changed that same R into an L, and it's done nowhere else on this Stella.
I got it on the screen already. I just was looking like an idiot, but I forgot I already had it up in the TLA. And so we got core. I should have just put an X in the R. But y'all see the R here is really Ru, the lion. So we get Koru. This is where they get Horu, or if I go to show you the what they say that says right here in English, they say it says Horu. If you put Horu up in here, it's gonna tell you right here. You feel me? And so right now, well, it messed up, but let me go Horu, and there you go. Now it's gonna lead us back to his. Hold on. We still in that same area, but we just north more. Then they're talking about the Iranians. But what I'm saying is, this is actually the ancient Egyptian way to say Horu. Well, we just look Hori. You see, it just transliterates
right above too. Look, called Hari.
Yeah, and so it's still this. They're just not giving you the ancient Egyptian on there, and it was more. That was north more. And so if I took that word and put it in a dictionary, it'll also probably bring us back.
Say it right. No, go back, Smash real quick. It say it right there, and it goes into that.
Let me see. Go back. Hold on. To where?
Right. See right below it says no.
Oh, on the,
good.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, right here.
Because it says it in there, but it say it right there. Lived in Anatolia, Syria, and northern Mesopotamia, and they spoke a Hurrian language.
Yeah, and so when I go to the TLA and we look at core, this is still Horu. So what I'm gonna show you is this by looking at an attestation, because we can show you what they say in the English. Syria and Kush. So here they say.
I saw and it looked like Chief X joined the chat, and he said that Tanis is in Northeast.
Oh yeah, that was cool. I seen he said that a while ago. Yeah, I wasn't asking that. I was trying to ask whether him to spell it to make sure he wasn't saying Thenis. That's all. Yeah. There's another location.
Tanis. The question initially was, do we think that people from the South migrated to Egypt? How far did the migration go? And I was telling him, I believe Tanis or Khoi or Kasut, as the Greeks would call it, were those people from Khoi, from the Khoisan migrating down from the south of Africa up down north to Egypt and its lower area.
So something people should realize real quick without us reading all of this, and we can really easily. First, I hope y'all seen where I said that these two reed leaves in my parsing that I'll submit should be appended onto this win to make the word winnie or existence, plural existence, since they talk about multiple people. Now, next, let me show you the easy part. We started by showing this S right here, right? Let's go back to the text. Hold on, Zoom is not letting me get to that part whenever I go to the top of my screen. When we go back to the text, you see this S? That's your S. So we all identified that. Hopefully pseudo killers see the S too. Put an S in the chat, pseudo killers. Look, there go an S. Now we see two single strokes, which anybody can show you, including this book, that is an abbreviation for a Y. So let's go. Let's find the two single strokes. Here we go.
I've also seen those in the demonstration I did.
You see that? You see that?
This shit, I mean, I don't understand, bro. Like, how do people be trying to get around what you be saying? I don't know, man.
I don't know, because they just don't like me.
Like,
I mean, I'm not talking about the pseudo
They
killers.
talking about me now, like, yeah, James is pseudo, but I understand everything you saying.
So pseudo killers put an S in the chat. Shout out to King Social. He seen the S, and there ain't no way around that. Now we got two strokes right here, diagonal. It's showing us that it's an abbreviation for a Y. Because this is really how you will write a Y if you got enough space, which also proves it's not an I saying Israel, it's a Y. It'll be Yisrael, but let's keep going. We prove here that a Y is written by two strokes. Let's go back to the text. We see those small two strokes. Go on and put a Y in the chat, King Social, because it ain't no way around that, and I know you a fair person. You see these two strokes that the dictionary just say is a Y, abbreviated Y. Go Go on and slap a Y in the chat if y'all see that.
But for pseudo's sake, because you
yeah, go on and do that.
Pseudo's sake, I'm gonna say, Smash, that this is how they could get around that.
All right.
It ain't slanted.
Oh no, we can show them the rules on that.
That's how they do it.
No, that's easy. You know how easy we could do that. They wouldn't even try that. Basically, I could pull that up right now in Gardner's book just to show you that this sometimes it's slanted, sometimes it's not.
Okay, don't worry about it. I'm just telling you know how they get out.
Yeah, they won't be able to do that. Anyone who reading that metal nature can show you that. Matter of fact, if ever anyone can't, I'm going to go to Gardner right now so we could be extremely thorough. Right. All right. Now, so we're going to open up Gardner. And just the other day, I got the whole book. I'm just going to go to his sign list, and we're going to go to the Z's. The Z's in this sign list should represent these strokes we're talking about, right? And I think this is going to be like Z2. So look, here we go. Dang, I don't have to show people much to beat them up. In the chat, pseudo killers, show me if you see how quick I took y'all to a qualified source to breed up any contention that you might have about the direction that these strokes are written.
Bam.
2 diagonal strokes, less often written straight up and down vertically. This is Sir Alan Gardner, Egyptian grammar. So that when we go back to the text, no one can refute what we're saying. And in case they're not clear, we're going to show them in the dictionary again. This is an abbreviation for a Y. I know you're still with me in the chat, Brendan. Yeah, come on. Take up for your pseudo killers and be honest. You got enough. Y'all got the aptitude to hear what I'm saying. What is this next letter in Metal Nature right here on the screen? Somebody put it in the chat. Yeah, we got S-Y. All right. Now we're at the third letter in what I propose to be the correct parsing of this term. Let's go back to, we should all know that this is an R by now. You know that's an R by now, James? That mouth, that middle letter R. If you don't, now you know it forever just because I asked you the question, see?
Right.
Here is an R. It is a mouth. Y'all see that? We dog walking.
That right there represents the origin, that first one, but those other ones are Coptic and demonic.
So when we go to the right is when we start to begin our study of hieratic into the demotic into the Coptic all the way to the right.
Yeah, we don't need that right
now. Yeah, exactly. Right now I'm showing them the oldest form, the original form, the Medunetia.
So the mouth represents the R. Is that a mouth? Is what that's what that's supposed to be?
That is a mouth, and if it has a logogrammic stroke under it, like we just learned when the professor came on, it means it's its own word. We should read it as a mouth.
Okay.
But this one don't got a logogrammic stroke under it. That one single stroke. So that means we don't read it as a logogram. We read it as a consonant, which is R. Pseudo Killers was reluctant to put a Y in the chat. So maybe that's going to be why they tripping. You feel me? Because why have y'all not put a Y in the chat as clear as I'm being here? Y'all hating what's going on. Not the real word hating. That's too harsh of a word. Y'all don't like how I could break this shit down.
Yeah, they not appreciating.
Yeah. And so you want to talk about qualifications. You're not qualified to qualify me. You can't say whether I'm right or wrong. It takes a smart person who's been into this information, because y'all smart, but y'all ain't been into this information, to be able to say you wrong. So I'm showing you dictionaries so we don't have to have that contention. Shout out to brother Bobby Banger with that Y in the building. Because everybody see, goddamn, that's a Y. Y abbreviation. Let's go back. We showed the rule in Gardner that it could be straight. So we got an S and a Y. Here go an R for the pseudo killers who think they could ever get around the Madjai, bruh.
Sound it out for us, pseudo killers. What do we
so we got what we got so far, and but they don't say that ain't an R. But I just showed them it's an R, right? Here go an R. You see the shape, pseudo killers? You're becoming symbol literate in the ancient Egyptian language. Look at that shape. You can now identify it. It says seer right here. We can stop right there. That's already Syria. Seer, Assyria, in the way they get it. But they went further to length and put a single reed leaf right here. See, cats can't mess with dog. That's why mom's, when I was early, she was like, you should be a preacher. Because she knew I had it, but it's being applied someplace else. And it's that unget-aroundableness.
You know, I see this off in this text without the writing. I mean, the reading, the highlighting of the red. I seen the word that you was talking. So I done learned 3 letters today. This is pretty good.
So, yep. And so in order for people to understand this phenomenon, so nobody don't make no pseudo-ass mistake and say, that's a J though, but that's a J. I'll allow somebody on the panel to explain what's happening here. You want to let them know what's going on, Brother Asar?
Yes, sir. So the J is usually, they do this because of, and it's starting to become a thing where the J replaces the I sound or the I. And so that's more of a Latin thing. The J is actually an A or an I sound.
Exactly.
So it's unknown. They put it as a J, which is a thing with linguistics.
So let me show you something. Look, it popped up. When we go to ancient Egyptian transliteration, this is also a place to study if you want to understand transliteration now. To explain this thoroughly, let's look at this reed leaf. Now, this scholar has a transliteration scheme, which uses one diphthong or whatever for the sound that we don't necessarily have determined here. They're like, it's a weak vowel, right? So this scholar has it as a diphthong sound. Armand.
Hold on, before you go, remember we just read weak consonants. We just had a discussion about them.
Yep, exactly. About how they fall off. And so what I want people to understand is Aldolf Armand has it as an I. Armand putting forth one of the earlier dictionaries on Medu Neter.
With all the rules.
So and people understand this is the transliteration scheme. Okay? So in some people's transliteration scheme, they used an I. For instance, he got a J for this, but look, this part, let's find a person who uses a I for something else. In his scheme, whoever, this is Adele, he had, where does he put the I? He omits the I, it apparently seems, and uses a J for all of these classifications. So when we're looking over scholarly documents, you first got to know which transliteration scheme they're using. And you can tell by when someone puts a J there, so what we should be referencing is not the J sound, but is that in their transliteration scheme, they use the symbol of a J as a placeholder for the sound, which is represented by this reed leaf. And so this is why this chart is good to learn. But notice here too, in particular manual decodage, which qualify all of these transliteration schemes and put it into a standard for all of us, it is an I. That means that is how it's used. And so you can see who call it an A. Budge call it an A. Not many others is even going to go there to call it an A. You see what I'm saying? It's in Budge file, called an A. And so that's why we be saying, are you reading that Budge? That means when you see this, you saying, hey, he's not necessarily wrong because it's the first ideogram, or it's the first phoneme, or the first sound at the beginning of the name Amen. So some say I mean, some say Amen. Amen is really going off how Budge translated it. So let's get this clear. We have this single reed leaf, which is an I by Sir Alan Gardner, which is the Middle Egyptian grammar we follow. This is why manual decodage, which is an abbreviation of a standard system for computing and encoding transliteration of ancient Egyptian texts, calls it an I. So now when we go back to the text, and we already made out that it got S, Y, I, or S, Y, R. Now we have a I here. All right. Everybody just assumed enough knowledge to know that this is an I right here, or it's holding the placeholder of a weak consonant that some scholars conclude is an I. Lastly, we have a vulture. So we have to walk this slowly. We have this vulture here. You see, it represents such a weak vowel or consonant that they have a backwards 3 or a double diphthong or whatever there to represent the phonetic quality of it. But it's known to us to be close to the sound of an A. This is the stronger A sound in the word. I would say in the word ma'at, but I could pick a better word for that. Asar, you got something there?
For Amen. Amun.
On who?
No, let me see.
No, not Amen. Amen got the reed leaf.
No, Akek got a small one too. No, Akek does have a little.
Well, in Mijah.
Dua.
Yeah, in Dua and in Mijah and in Madjai, this is the A sound. And so it's various words we can prove that this holds the A sound. And so we will go back to the transliteration schemes and see, again, not only Budge went hard and just said this is an A. All the other scholars put two backwards diphthongs to say that sound is somewhat undetermined. But in manual decodage, what we'll use here to bring up this glyph on a computer is a capital A. And so we can, if you want to conclude this is an A at the end, if you want to say it's inconclusive, I'll take both of that. We got Siri, which matches up more to the ancient Luanese text, see? So I'm willing to let you scrutinize this final A right here. But in all actuality, it spells out S-Y-R-I-A. Now, again, we got opponents who say that's not an ancient spelling of Syria. You want to go look at my other video on the text. We pull up 2 documents on the ancient name of Syria, and this IA in place names, again, looking here, should not be equated to Greeks. What the Greeks did with the use of an IA at the end to give us a place name, or whoever did that. And so now we got an R with the logogrammic stroke under it, and we learned the rule earlier that should be said as its own. It should be said as a mouth or a thing, you know what I'm saying? Or it could be like the speech of or the mouth. But Syria, this mouth, which we got to do more on, because over here, when they want this to say Israel, they add this Y at the beginning. They got Y. Even in Israel, they still got the S-I-R, the S-Y-R-I-A. They still got that in their translation of Israel. They just put a Y on the front, and they use this this thing with the logogrammic stroke incorrectly to say it's an L in that instance. And then we have a throw stick here, which is always representative of foreigners. And we have people to let us know they're talking about a foreign people, not a foreign land. All right. And
so hold up, Smash. So in what you call it? So I'm trying to figure this out, right? So you saying the 2 double reed leaves need to be in black.
Exactly.
And then where the mouth, with the thing, the line up under it, it's supposed to be in black, and then everything onward. If you're just trying to spell out Syria, but if you're trying to spell out Syria, so basically what I get out of this, it says Syria, the mouth of foreign people. Is that right?
I can't say that.
Yeah,
you close.
Syria,
you
the
close.
mouth of foreign people.
You close, but I can't. Okay, yeah. I can't wait.
How would you say that? I can't
weigh that yet. I got to learn more about how the.
Boy, you a stickler for detail, bro.
Give him a good grade.
Like me,
if
what I just read, that's how I would read that, based on what you just taught us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just simplifying it, that's what it said, basically.
So I'm about to snip it now so that I can show my parts.
Put the whole city in there too, so we can.
What you mean the whole city?
Cores cut off.
Core, yeah, I cut off core. Let me start over. Slide over a little bit. Well, I gotta actually slide this over before I start the picture.
Shit, I'm reading Meta in no time.
We're saying Uni, right? Because you seen the Uni he showed earlier.
Hold on, where you at? A song? I don't
Hold on, I'm about to start it. I'm about to parse it in different colors. After I snip it, I will parse it in different colors. So
okay.
First, I'm gonna start with the whole statement after the last. This is where this sentence starts, or this part of the phrase starts, and this is where it ends. But I'm gonna go to the city to where right there, right. So this is the line of the text we're looking at, right. So what I'm gonna do here is change a few colors. Right now, I got the fact that I'm sharing my screen in Zoom, it kind of affects me. Let me make this a bit. Hope this is transparent. And so I'm gonna try. Let me see.
Yeah. Okay, we see it.
Highlighting this what I say should be one word. And this is called group writing too, but the two read leaves did not fit, I propose, into that group, right? That's what that word should be. Now, the S is causative on top, meaning you could take the S off and it means I'm not gonna make it happen, it's just gonna happen. Like this, look. Sa-uni is to cause existence. Uni is existence, basically, right? So let me change the color of this real quick.
Hey, Smash. Mm-hmm. You see how there's a little bit of top in the middle of that S, though?
A little bit of.
And you know how when we went into the text the other day, see, it don't look like the door.
It don't look like. Oh, so that you want it to be negation.
Like
it could be. It could be negation. Let's look at. It could be negation. You right. But now let's go to the second portion.
Because one of the translation says no longer exists.
Yeah, you're right. So I'm gonna get on that, and I'm glad you pointed that out. And this is what happens when but looking at facsimiles. But I also want people to see that the primary is in. Let me see if I can Control Z and erase that. All right, let me try over. The primary is in such worse condition that you have to go off of somewhat what they transliterated. I'm just trying to do this without overlapping my stuff so people can see. That is the end of what should be the word right there. And following what they say about the logogrammic stroke, if I could change this color, we're going to have it. This itself is standing with the logogrammic stroke, which means it's its own word. And now who they talking about, I'm just going to keep on doing my funny color codes. Who they talking about is not a land.
Foreign people.
It's some people. And I'm going to put the foreign part inside of this. So the R word ain't foreign. I mean, the throw stick is a determinative on these people right here. So now that's easier to see what I propose as how this should be correctly parked. Now let's go in on what you was just breaking down inside of this yellow section. Good brother Asar, you got the floor. If you so choose.
He on mute if he don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he might have bounced out for a second.
Yeah, he might have stepped away to handle some business. And so what he's saying is, when we look at this straight line, the only inflections or whatever in the line go over the top and through the bottom. When we look at this straight line, it's just on the top.
Right.
When it's just on the top like this straight line represents an N for negation, which makes perfect sense in this sentence because it's going to wind up saying that they don't exist. And so it's not going to just say they don't exist, but it's going to say, I'm going to make them not exist. And this is why I argued that this was the causative est, but it doesn't even have to be. I'm gonna show you what I mean. Both of those statements are qualified. So I'm gonna type SWN in this book, and we're gonna see Sa'um right here, but it just got a different S right here. Let's see if we can find it with the doorbolt. S. And it's about time to be lunchtime in a minute. Oh, it's way past lunch. I woke up.
Yeah, he said lunch.
I woke up late today because I was streaming so light. I thought I started about 9 a.m. Oh, but I started. It's good. I'm gonna find it. Hold on. And if I don't find it, then we'll go to a different point. Let me see. So I'm starting to agree with what brother Asar just pointed out. That might not be the causative S on type. It may, in fact, just be negation, which would be just like an N like this. Let me see. I'm going through this forever. I won't do it. It's just an N with the shoulders, like it's two arms sticking out, looking like I don't know, but it's like really. Yeah. Okay, you there? So I was going to let you expound on what you were saying about this being an N, and I believe you're correct because it's negating their existence. So I got Ari M10 now. Tim is the negation, though, my brother.
And then it's got with that.
So why would they put an N right there? All right, this is what I mean. Let me show you. When I put the T and the M right here, we're going to see it's going to mean something about negation. Right? There it go. Look. Tim negates a sentence. So that's what's saying not exist.
What is that first symbol? Do you know what that is?
It's like a sled. It's like a sled.
Okay, I'm trying to make that out. I don't know what that is.
It's like a sled. It can be seen in the name Atum. Matter of fact, here's the name Atum here. So the reason why
giant sled pulling the monument of hold up, these ladies crazy over here.
He said there's a giant sled pulling a monument that represents.
Yeah, you can see that giant sled moving the monument of what's his name? It's on the wall to show like 100,000 men pulling the sled in that statue. Memnon, the Memnon statue. It's that same sled right there.
So let's look at this for a minute. And let's take it slow. So the people you understand you don't gotta know Medu Neter to see what I'm seeing. We're using the tools that help you see that I'm not making this up. In this instance, Tim don't mean all and everything. Even if you wanted to mean all and everything, it's going to say everything don't exist no more. So it could, in fact, mean all and everything, and then the end could be the negation. But we still arrive at the same conclusions. You see? Because on
based on the sentence, you know it don't mean a tree.
Oh yeah, we definitely know.
See, it say tree.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So that's what he was talking about. The sentence instruction gives you an idea of what it's saying.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what y'all are trying to figure out now, whether it means negation or all, everything, or entire.
So I can put, you're 100% correct. I can put this entire sentence into a dictionary so that I don't have to explain nothing. Hey, if you don't mind, when you ain't don't want the floor, if you can mute out, that'd be dope. Let me see. So let me show you. Starting with this I right here, I'm going to put the transliteration for that in the dictionary. IR. Right? It's going to be like to do. See, a doer or a maker. Right? But they don't got the man right there. It just means to make. You can see that I in very instance means to make, to do, to set a good example there. But I'm just trying to find it by itself so everybody can peep. Gang.
See, if you put in the Nini, see if the two arms pop up anywhere with that. with
Okay.
the ER.
I will do that. So here is the longer word spelled out. They just spelling out the I, Ari. It's to begot, to make, to create, right? So we know that first I ain't talking about Wasir because they didn't put the throne or the chair. Instead, what they put, let's go see. They put an I and a bird, right? I'm going to say that because we're looking at somebody's facsimile and looking at the primary, it's way hard to tell which birds this is. I'm going to conject that that's a chick bird putting plurality on making. So I need to show what I'm trying to show you real quick because we taking it slow. This is what I'm trying to say. So that's a different version of it. You're going to see the I with it. Well, here's a version. This is a different way to write the chick bird or plurality. And that's a maker. You'll learn that it can either be the chick bird that'll provide this W for plurality at the end, or sometimes they just put this squiggly thing. But I'm going to show you one that you can readily identify so that you won't have to be. Every time you see our root, you see a maker of something, right? But it's not using the chick bird, and some people won't understand that. So let's go back. Here is the end that brother Asar is telling us is the negation in the sentence, and that I may be incorrect because he's saying that's that end right here over this existence right here, which means cause to not exist. Again, this is in my parsing. I'm including these double reed leaves on the word win to make winnie, which still just means a plurality of that. We talked about how the W could be not there and all of that stuff. And if you look this up in a dictionary, it says beings. Being, to be means to exist. So a being is an existent or someone who exists. And so if we negate existence in this word, well, we just looked up Tim, it's also negation, remember? But it also could mean the other word, Tim, that everybody, remember? So now it's say make, it's say R-U M Tim. Now let's read that both ways. R-U, make, like in plurality, M, of a conjunction or whatever, Tim being either negation, so it's not negation because it wouldn't have a conjunction to it. So it would be all and then not exist. Now that's different grammar too from Middle Egyptian. But still, if I'm reading it literally first, we have the maker in front, then we have a M, which is for, to, or by, or, you know, we have, for, by, or whatever. Of, yeah, exactly. Then we have Tim, which could either be all or negation. Then we have what could either be Sa'un, but I'm starting to lean towards what Brother Asar says, that this is negation, this is all, this is a different grammatical structure. Nevertheless, it gives us literally, before we translate it, maker or making of, and then it says Tim, all not exist, right? Anybody can go through that with you. These double reads, we talked about that too much. Now we spelled out S-Y-R-I-A right here. Then we went over the rule of the logogramming stroke. This should be read as what it actually is, a mouth. Now that takes further investigation. We need to do philological surveys on more 19th century texts or 19th dynasty texts to examine the language that was being used while that family was in rule. But nevertheless, we just put up scholars who corroborate that this and then if we look at other places in the text, other locations have an R. Thanks for the subscription, whoever that was. Other locations have an R with the logogrammic stroke right here, right before the throw stick, and a determinative as well. So the last thing I did not include, and this is the best part of it, I'm going to put it in yellow as well. I'll put it in the same color as Syria. This is the best part of it, and this is what Brother Asar made me go back and add. This is the very best part of it. Because every Egyptological dictionary that you look into is going to take this final word here and tell you this means the land of Syria. I could not make this up.
Ding!
You feel me? It transliterates back to Koru as we went over. And then I'll show you the TLA here, which shows it as core. And what do they define it as? Core. Now you look at the symbols yourself. I'm gonna make them big on the screen. You have the sound in this 1000 or this whatever number this represents. I forgot, but it's what number this represent? Sorry, it represents.
That's 1,000. The
okay, great. Yep. So the sound, which is represented by 1,000. We have this A here, ka, and then we have ru. So this is why some translate it as koru. They take the KH and shift it to a H, and this is what you get your Horu or your Iranians from. All right. But right here, they just give you the simple definition of Syria. So you see this symbol, this bird, a lion, a single stroke, a throw stick, and a mountain. Let's go back to the text. Oh, I actually did it better for us on the screenshot. So let me find that mug. Now what we see, this is the 1,000 right here. For there go that bird, there go the lion, there go the single stroke, and there goes the throw stick, and there goes the land. Now we got to be clear here. Because somebody going to say, how that say Syria if that say Syria? In the over here to the right, they're talking about their name for the land, which eventually becomes Syria anyway. Here they're talking about the people there. So it would assume, and I don't care who say it doesn't happen this way, it would assume, it would, from looking at the data, and furthermore, when I talk about the data, we have to be fair to what I am. Before I come to any conclusions, we have to be fair to what I'm presenting. In the scholastic presentation of what this says, it's also the first mention. They just say it's another place, further from this location here. I'm saying it's the people who were of this location, as they tell us with the purple right here. So if we want to read it all the way, as we read it halfway, we want to read it all the way, we're going to still go Aru, M, Tim, In, or Ni, Uni, Syria, Feket bin Paret. Huh? That's Feket, right?
Yeah, his seed is Ben Paret.
Yep.
Season is over, basically.
Yep.
Hold on, slow
Feket.
down right there in the white part right there.
Mm-hmm.
Now I see like the purr, and I see the mouth. I see like a black sun disk and a plural sign. Right
Not a
there.
sun dish. You see a black. Oh yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That's
I don't
a
know what
seed.
that is.
It's a circle. You see a
But
black
I know at the
circle.
bottom, that's a bread. I guess that's a bread.
That's
loaf.
bird seed or bird doodoo.
So let's talk about this for a minute. Because when you read in the facsimile, all of the ancient Egyptian circles could become confused. So we got to keep the context of what circle they're talking about. Like Brother Asar just said, this isn't a sun disk, it's a seed. And we know this because of the word paret that they spelled in front of it to let us know they're not saying come forth, or they're not talking about this house. They're just using this PR sound from the house, and then they put an R as the phonetic complement, and then a T at the bottom. Then they put a seed for the determinative with 3 strokes, which means multiple seeds. Then they put an F, that means his seed. So right now they talking about this people's seed or whatever. It says Faket bin Pered F Core. And actually, I want to go look to see, is they talking about core? Is core beginning the next sentence or ending this one? You feel me? But I hope it was clear the way that we show at least the reparsing that I'm going to try to put forward. And I want my linguist homie to tell me exactly why this is wrong. He won't be able to attack the grammatical structure of this parsing without addressing the fact that this dynasty is doing it all throughout the text. They saying words almost like this is a forgery or a fake. Like at the time when they made this up, they had not had almost complete understanding of the word order, or if the ancient Egyptians really did this authentically, that the grammar was changing so much that now they speak it almost like English, like make all not exist. That's not how you're supposed to say that. You feel what I'm saying? That's closer to English word order. And so
well, you got the make, so you got the verb first, and then you got all.
Okay.
And then you got exist. So you still good with
that's true. Okay, so we're getting verb, but then the all was supposed to be behind them if this is all, right? Not in front. It ain't in the adjectival position.
No, because remember you start with create. So you start with the verb create, and then you go to the verb, them, or however that works out right there. Then you go to Tim. Boom. So you started with the verb in the sentence with create, and then we go to all, and then it transpires from there. Like most Egyptian sentences, they don't always keep that same order, but they always start with that order.
Well, that's very good for you to add, and I appreciate that. I'm used to certain sentences. Yeah, I know there's instances where the negation isn't before the initial verb or whatever, but a lot of them do start with negation too, and so some will add that. But in either instance, this one don't. You know, and so that's my argument. I hope I didn't lose the pseudo killers who said I don't believe, by giving such a well-detailed argument that it was slow and boring, that they actually can see. You feel me? And so absolutely. I'm actually going to use this color parsing in my document that I send and put out. And so thanks for helping me redo this. So what are the critiques of what I don't want to hear no yes man shit. I understand we agree righteously, and that's perfect unity. But
we gotta look at what's incorrect.
Yeah, somebody play devil's advocate and beat up this theory with the best thing you can right now.
Be as ruthless as you can.
In the chat, tell me what are your contentions with what we propose. If you want to see information on Syria being spelt and looked at this way, you're going to first look into the separation. The Greeks didn't make a separation between Assyria and Syria. What they did was make a separation between a land called Syria over here, Kor, and some people called the Syrioi. Okay, which lines up perfectly with this. They were a Luca people. So if we go look up ancient Luca, we just gonna see it's a different part of Anatolia. Lukka. Shout out to Luca's Restaurant, downtown Oakland. I do be knowing what y'all be saying subliminally with these names and stuff. You feel me? I'll be like, all right, let's go eat at Luca's. And I don't know why they giving that good Mediterranean cuisine in there, but I'll be in there eating. So Luca, right? Luca lands. They closed down Luca for anybody in the town. So here we we see Hatti. We already understand Hatti is Hattusa, the capital of the Hittite Empire, which was Northmore. Now here we got Ugarit. It says Ugarita. That's what they called it from the Hittite perspective. But these states over here, Luca, more Easter, had a people called the Syrioi. And so
hold
now
on, Smash. Hold on. I don't mean to interrupt. But this map, where is this at?
So okay, I'm
on,
sorry.
On the global map,
yeah, it's zoomed in too much. We're looking at Anatolia, or what's modern day Turkey, and some portion the northern Mediterranean, and some portions of the Levant. Syria being like a big circle, like right here. So if I took us to another map and showed that, but again, the people from the farther east were called by the Greeks a name that matches up very closely to what we're talking about. And so I'm gonna see if I can pull that up. So they're looking for a land. Notice in this document, they're looking for the land of Sura from hieroglyphic Luinese inscriptions. And we have already this being confirmed that this Sura could be a smaller land by this scholar, proposing that it's not just Assyria. But even in his document, he tells us about the different ways the terms were used. So I'm looking for a particular quote where he starts to talk about the Syrioi that the Greeks talked about right there in the Syria area. They was just more eastern in the Luca area. And so I'm just going to try to find where he's talking about that. But right now they're talking about the other scholars that say that Sura designates Assyria. So the A ain't on there no more. And scholars also discuss the phenomenon of that A falling off. I'm not a linguist, so I don't have it remembered. But it's like apparition or something. So I just want to show something before. Now, he's talking about, I seen him talking about the hieroglyphs, but hold on. If anybody want to get a bar in while I'm
while we digging it up.
Yeah.
So if we look at some of the translations, like some of these translations, they're like,
here we go. Go ahead, keep going.
Where's that translation at? I got too much stuff on. Okay, is that it?
Is that what? Is that what?
I was looking up some of the translations, so we could see how they translated what they've got. This is some of the scholars having a discussion over here.
Yeah.
Hold on,
Yeah. Now look, right here, I want you to see a suggestion when he's looking up the land of Sirah from 11th and 10th century, and we talking about BC. I don't know why it's a C right there. I know he ain't talking about. Yeah, he definitely, because at that time, well, whatever. I don't see him saying BC, so let's just see what he's saying. But we got the Luco or Syrioi, supposedly some ancient Anatolians, because we know Assyria and all of that is out by them time periods. But listen, thus we have one surah, a place or location from the 11th, 10th century, and another surah from the end of the 9th, beginning with the 8th century, that can be identified neither with Tyre nor Assyria, while the identification of the Urartu is problematic. Moreover, since there's no reason to assume that there are two surahs, the two surahs are different, as they are attested in the same language and in inscriptions from the same city, their identity can be assumed unless proven otherwise, so that chronological reasons exclude Urartu as well. So at this point, all is known that Sura is an Anatolian region. But he's using these 11th century attestations. I had thought that he was using older ones for that. Nevertheless, he's still looking for a place called Sirioe. Now, the population of Cappadocia, and yes, this region is none other than Central Anatolia, which is Central Syria, in case we understand, which is Syria. Y'all know that, right?
Yeah.
In other words, he's calling it Cappadocia. The population of Cappadocia, in a wider sense, had an alternative Greek name, Sirioe, or Sirioe, or Luca Sirioe. So this is not exactly the same Syria. This is some people more to the east called Sirioe. So what this is an attestation, even though it's later, of one calling the land Sura, which in the text is going to translate back to Koru, and I can show you the other scholar who corroborates that. Koru is going to give us this Sura, and then Sirioe will be corroborated as those people they're talking about, which matches the transliteration of the people. So if we have an I and an A right here, they have an O and an O. But if this is being matched with some 10th century Greek, that combination isn't as strong. So I got another scholar who I'm about to pull up who built on it too. And while I'm pulling it up, let's see if y'all got anything y'all want to add to that.
I'm trying to find.
Now I know he's not talking about no Hittite attestations in the 10th century.
Right. There's Amenemhat who talks
Although you
about.
went too fast right there, Smash. You should have with that what you just highlighted. What was he saying?
Oh no, he was right here. It says a Hittite attestation of his name would be great help. But
none is presently known.
They're talking about a person.
See what I'm saying? Read all of that. We
Yeah, but
need
this ain't pertinent to what we're talking about. They're talking about a person. When I said his name is when I stopped looking over that, because I want to take us to another scholar that's addressing directly what we're talking about.
Okay.
But this document is called, again, for anybody interested, Where the Land of Sura from the Luanese hieroglyphs. All right, so let's stop right here. That's what I want to keep in the context. This land of Sura he's looking from is in hieroglyphic Luwian. And so talking about the Greeks and stuff, I don't want people to get lost. The time period of the hieroglyphic Luwian, which is an Anatolian script, is about 1000 BC. And they're still looking for the land of Sura. Okay?
You have the discussion with Amenemhat, and he wasn't familiar with the people in Syria, and he was being informed by one of his enemies, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that discussion is like 1200 BC or something like that, or something before, or something like that. I'm trying to dig it up now. I can't remember where it's at. But his discussion would, give a little more credence to the understanding of Sura by the Egyptians before the Greeks. And possibly why we have the name Ma'at Ur in even more ancient times before it turns into Syria. Where did I put it at?
And so I know we'll meet contention because well, let me unmute the Zoom. I know I will meet contention by those saying, well, Syria wasn't spelled like that. Well, Israel wasn't spelled like that. There was no Israel. I'm showing you other sources that, like the Luwian hieroglyphs, that's showing us that it actually was spelled like that. And
this would be the first time. Remember, they're saying this is the first time we saw Israel. We're telling you this is the first time we see Syria.
Exactly.
And
And
it
Syria,
matches.
hold up, and Syria predates Israel.
Yes.
I know this, but I just want to make sure we got so they can understand.
Yes. We're in agreement.
Because they're talking about they're really talking about people that really exist. You know what I'm saying? This Israel, this is just we on a treasure hunt, so to speak, to find this in ancient time. And see, that's what I was trying to tell them last night on the pseudo killers, that they use Egypt to give them validity in history. Without them, if they can't find Israel in any type of Egyptian text, that's bad for them, right?
Yeah, well, basically it means that they wouldn't be that old, which it doesn't sound like they were. They have to remember Israel gets pushed back from the Ptolemies. They keep talking about Pharaoh. Your issue was with Ptolemy. You're not recorded as having an issue with any original kings. Yeah, yes. If you're ancient king, you was one of the Shasu, either a Hicka this or a Shasu that, whatever you was, with your leader, etc., etc. That's where your issue would be. So,
yeah, and that's what we give them credit at. We give them credit as leaving saying, well, okay, maybe y'all maybe possibly the Hyksos, if you want to go back, or you know what I'm saying?
Right, which would have
we
been
at least try to give them that, but as far as us finding them anywhere off in any type of ancient text going that far back, we're unable to find it.
Right.
But they're trying to gain validity by imposing that as Israel, right?
So let me checkmate them.
Right.
Okay.
I found this other document that I was talking about, and I want people to see this part here. Now, don't tell me I'm transliterating it wrong and that was not no ancient way to say Syria. You just ain't been, I ain't sharing my screen. I'm sorry.
I was about to say.
Let me see. Now y'all can see it?
Yeah.
All right, look. In 2006, however, Rollinger brought to our attention a recently published inscription dating to the second half of the 8th century BC. See, this is what I was talking about. I was like, why is this other document up in these modern times? The 8th century BC from a Turkish town called Sinikoy, or in the inversions of Adama, or in the environs of Adana. It says it contains bilingual text written in Luwian hieroglyphs and the Phoenician alphabet. In Phoenician, the toponym Assyria and the gentilic Assyrians are spelled Asir and Asirim. Let's stop right there, because we know the "im" on those Semitic languages just means plural or all of them, or multiple. So probably transcribed Ashur and Ashurim, not Ashur and Asharuim. I don't know how to pronounce the differences. While its Luwian counterpart was what? I'm gonna make it hella big. I'm gonna make it hella big. You feel me?
To cover both.
So now tell me I'm transliterating that to a word that wasn't real at that time is making you a menudo. Really, not, some people don't understand this or some people don't know this, but what we're showing is in Anatolian hieroglyphs, which is called the Luwian script or Luwian hieroglyphs, the counterpart for Assyria, see, they got bilingual text so that we know this. When the Phoenicians said Assyria, the Anatolian people just put Suri / So this slash here doesn't represent that they got 2 consonants at the end. Instead, it's 4 consonants, and the final one is either a 4 letters or whatever, and the final one is either a or a I.
So you saying that you can change those out?
Stella, basically, because it ends with the long A on the Marinette Ptah Stella, just as right here is showing that it would end in A.
Exactly. A or I, exactly. To cover, now they saying, let's keep it popping, because they saying the Anatolians are the real Syrians called it Assyria, called it Sirah or Siri to cover both forms of, well, let me make this smaller so I can read it better. To cover both forms, it was not uncommon in antiquity to employ a geographical name in the singular as a collective, denoting a group of people. So what's up with these dudes who teach you different than the scholars? Listen to what he says, even and apply this to Kemet. It was not uncommon in antiquity to employ a geographical name in the singular as a collective, denoting a group of people. If you apply that to Kemet, they could take a geographical name in the singular, which is Kemet, and employ it to a collective and denote a group of people. This is what scholars know. You feel me? This is what scholars know, but people on YouTube ain't under this impression that that could happen. So Rollinger,
so the scholar agreed with us clearly.
About Kemet too, but he ain't even talking about Kemet right here. He just saying in general, it is not uncommon in antiquity to employ a geographical name, a toponym, in the singular as a collective, denoting a group of people. Well, people,
which means that they would be right when they showed people first.
Yep.
And then they showed the toponym second.
Exactly. Rollinger argues that in the 8th century BC, when the Assyrians dominated most of the ancient Near East, the Greeks established closer contact with them. Southern Anatolia and northern Syria were called Sicilia, and the area where the Luwian statue was found also played a crucial role. So rather than having corrupt Syrian from Assyrian in Greek, the Greeks may have adopted the short form of these regions. So that's substantiating that they could have just adopted what the ancient Egyptians called them too. This was perhaps the Luwians, but scarcely from the Aramaeans. Aramaeans are another Aramaic-speaking population in these territories, as Rollinger asserts, on which more below. In his judgment, the bilingual inscription even proves incontrovertible. Incontrovertible proof that the Luwian used to pronounce Assyria without the initial elf. Okay? So the people, y'all want to know who the Luwians is? The people of Syria, pronounced Assyria without the initial elf. Moreover, he avers that it settles the etymology question once and for all. So when y'all still talking about this is one scholar.
It settles it?
Exactly. He is saying that. Naturally, there is more to say about the interrelationship between Syrian and Assyria, two names which have often caused unnecessary confusion amongst writers who did not take into account the synchronic diachronic approach, meaning that one has to study the sense of each name in the context of its first attestation, which we doing. So who's saying we ain't qualified? We doing what we doing because we just know to do it. But one has to study the sense of each name in the context of its first attestation and to follow it through subsequent errors.
I wonder, does he acknowledge that what you, I don't see, he probably don't. But I was wondering, do he acknowledge what you're saying is the first adaptation of Syria?
So no, they ain't got that because they thought that meant Israel. So now it's so these is all the
so this is breaking news. What you got?
This is history right now.
I mean, it could be, but this is what I'm on the earth for stuff like this, so it should be true. But it ain't gonna. It ain't gonna get past scholarship unless I put it.
I mean, is somebody else saying, from reading the actual text that you're talking about? Is there anybody else that's saying other than you?
No place in the world have I seen anyone.
So
Matter
I
of
know
fact,
a special person on earth.
you could no, not that's not true.
That shit is crazy.
That's not true. You can see us figure this out, me and Asar live, and then the help of the Seshu, even though we ain't in communication right now.
Yeah.
What they put forth, it led to just we had the knowledge to come to this conclusion. I don't think they agree. I don't know if they seen my work on this or even agree with me, and they can say I'm totally wrong, and then I'll leave it at that. But when Ujahu pointed out that logogram R, and then I was already suspicious of the text, and me and Asar M. Khan started going over it. I told him my theory about attaching those reed leaves to Winnie, and then we parsed it together after that, and it spelled out Syria for us right in our face. It ain't like nothing else we had to do. You know what I'm saying? And so it ain't like we had to move no glyphs around. We didn't have to go to no extra dictionaries. You can use the standard Egyptological sources to see that if we parse this different than scholars are parsing, this purple or this burgundy-ish area, lavender, whatever, spells Syria. Now, the only contention I got about that was people who thought they knew hella much, like, that ain't how you say Syria in the ancient way. Now, we see these weak sounds here. Weak consonants is just that. They not just as determined at how that sound right there. You feel me? I mean, so we got these weak consonants are that and weak vowels too, but I don't want to mess that all the way up. The reason why they put it weak is not because you go, hella soft. It's more or less because of the determination. And this, at least to my understanding, someone could say that's wrong. It is because, let's let in phonetics.
I was going to say, you say weak vowels and weak consonants. You calling them weak because they don't really actually know. Like when you were showing us.
Well, right here they said they're unstressed.
So you're saying they're saying because they don't know it's not strong, right?
It's unstressed.
Okay.
So like it's not stressed, and that's what's making a weak vowel. I'm looking up in the encyclopedia instead of disseminating what I think. I don't know. You say in phonetics, a vowel normally occurs when wait, hold on, man. Why these ads doing me like this? Let me see. In phonetics, a vowel that normally occurs only in unstressed syllables. There are two weak vowels in English. Schwa. Whatever. I don't even know that. That E, that in the unattested syllables of above are sofa and I. Man, I can't understand what they're saying right there.
Yeah, me neither.
You feel me? Somebody could explain that.
maybe that
I
was
need a
just the
different
wrong
source.
link. Yeah, maybe you should.
Yeah, definitely. That's all I was gonna look for.
Yeah, that's how I be studying, man.
Yeah,
so
like
I be doing something right.
You ain't explaining it the way
my
brain
where I can't
works.
understand the definition. I'll go to another source until maybe I can make sense of it.
James, well, that's studying on the low.
They're talking about weak vowels in English. I just want to hear about weak vowels and weak consonants in general.
Maybe those people also ask right there. Maybe you could
let me see.
Because that's something I use too. Right? So it says, what is weak consonants?
I said
weak consonant model. What is a weak consonant model?
All right, yeah. Definition. A Linus consonant is a weak consonant produced by the lack of tension in the vocal apparatus. These weak consonants tend to be short, weakly voiced, and voiceless aspirated. So when I said it's not because you go, oh, I was 100% incorrect. It's actually because you don't put a lot, it seems to be that you don't put a lot of stress on those consonants. But let's go back to what I thought I knew, and let me show you why. What I was explaining is even when we look at the I and the A, as we call them that, when we go to the transliteration chart, you'll see that they're kind of like undetermined even by Egyptologists as to what they are. So that led me to be under the misinterpretation that meant they was weak. You feel me? But they actually mean they're weak because they're not stressed hard. And so We cleared that up. And so then, I mean, so where do we stand? We look at the parsing of this. I mean, hey, I'm going to submit it to people that I know would love for me to be wrong. You feel me? So
yeah, and see what they say.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, brothers, I'm gonna back out, but I just wanted to say, man, I appreciate what y'all got going on, and I'll be in the chat.
Well, I appreciate you for participating. I done done about 3 hours. I could get you. Got some closing words you want to get off, or was that them?
Yeah, that was pretty much it. But I'll be I don't know, you be in and out, daytime, nighttime, morning time. I don't know when I'm gonna catch you.
You know what?
But
I try to keep them morning hours, but if I'm up and ain't nothing going on, I have my old man night. I might just hop on the late night. But I try to keep that morning slot, and I try to be done. I normally try to.
So
be
you
like,
can give everybody else a chance.
Exactly. I mean, I'm trying to find some viewership, so I don't want to be on when people is on.
Right.
When
that late night, I mean, I'm a late night person, so that's when I be up. And then you on the West Coast, so that's kind of more fitting for me over here. I'm in the central part of America. Like, I know that's probably too late for East Coast, but that's kind of cool for where I'm at. Well, but anyway, yeah, peace to the brothers, peace to the chat and the family, and then I'll be in the chat.
Peace to you. And what's up with you, my brother? Oh, sorry, Kai, you got the floor.
You don't know what it is. I'm gonna probably start kicking up on the Heck in the Chair channel, HKN, New Word NTR. It's been a while. I did something the other day, just talking about what we was doing and the importance of the pseudo killers. Y'all see how they coming at us in the chat? That's exactly what you want. That's exactly what you want.
I think we put hands on them.
We did, but that's what you want, because when you got cats that's like, hell nah, then it's going to make you dig down and do your best research. And that's what you need. If you got a bunch of yes dudes around, of course, you're going to be dead wrong. More than likely, you're going to walk in the arena and what you thought was hot in the basement is going to be whacked on stage and you're going to get slaughtered. And that's what it is. That's why I like that raw energy that they bring. Even our brother Google Scholar in there, he was saying, he was talking about the Amarna letters, which are written both ways. Remember, I brought those up on Pseudo Killer Show the other day. But yeah, you got to dig down and see what's up. And if you'll bring it up one more time, real quick, the Stella, real quick.
Or the whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on.
So go look at the transliterations of this, you guys. Go look at the translation. And most of the time what you're going to see is oh no, you was good. You had it.
Oh, okay.
You had it with the colors you had. This is our secret weapon document. You see all them rainbow colors on there? This is our Tekashi 6ix9ine for y'all. It's going to snitch on y'all. So when you look at this, you're going to see them say, making all their existence no more. That's what most of the translations say. Bob Breyer says it. If you take his Medu Neter class, and he's a proponent for Israel. He's Jewish. The only thing they do, they're not looking at this as Nini above the rabbit. They're not looking at this as Oni, which is clear. You see Oni, then you see Syria, who they're talking about. You see the R in the mouth, and then you see those people determinative, just as Oni should be. And it goes in to say more for Ket Ben Peret about his season being over in core. And that's, I think, what is going to be defining, as most of the people who translate this probably can read this, but because there's a big push for Israel, everything, they don't want to read it. We understand. But Israel's a great nation right now. You don't need this. You don't need this. We have to give the Syrians credit where credit is due.
Good point to be made. Yeah, man. And
Imhotep the Smash and the chat.
Yeah. So shout out to the pseudo killers for asking the appropriate questions. for me to know how to get y'all to go pew and be up out in the bushes. You know what I'm saying? Some cats got their pew on and they was in the chat. Then when we break it down and start asking people to spell it along with us in the dictionary, ain't nobody here no more. Pew! That's what we call that. And that's the sound effect from when you're going fast and you under the age of 10. Remember? Them boys did the pew and got up out of here. Shoo, before they get hit with that nice arrow. You know what I'm saying? So thanks for helping and thanks for encouraging the development of my ancient Egyptian language repertoire. I have a lot to learn. We all got a lot to learn. Feel me? But I like as much as I know I like it. Pew! Pseudo killers got up out of here. Let me see if I can find the old school fast feet Fred Flintstone. We're going to take this out. Dedicate the Fred Flintstone feet to my pseudo killers. Come on. Hold on. Look. This is what happened. Somebody said, so this is what happened. Hold on. Somebody was like, that don't say Syria. I don't believe you. And then there was another pseudo killer who was like, all the pseudo killers don't think the same thing. Then I start parsing shit and it went. Oh, hold on. I got to get another Fred Flintstone feat for y'all, man. Hold on. The pseudo killers straight got up out the bushes. Let's see if they got Fred Flintstone feet in the bushes. Hold on. Look. This is what happened to the pseudo killers when. Hold on. This is what happened. Hold on. They ain't in the car. I said the bushes. You got to have Fred Flintstone in the bushes, man. All right, well. I still want to see some more Flintstone feet. Because that's what the pseudo killers got when they seen this breakdown. That was the best one. I think this might be whoever had the pseudo killer. I'm going to take that sound effect and put it on whenever somebody running, and you're going to have to be in knowing that seen this show in order to know who got the original Flintstone feet on the show, the pseudo killers. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to everybody. I'm about to get off, go watch somebody else's show. And I'm going to be talking and clowning in their chat just to make sure that their engagement is up and their show is entertaining. Thank you guys for doing the same for me. And I'm up out of here. We're going to get up out of here with one of these bangers. Hold on. Who else be running hecka funny? Hey, stupid. It says Syria. It say Syria. I said it say Syria. Oh, shit. It must say Syria. Pseudo killers out. She had all they books, so they can't research no more. Here come the Madjai. Hold on. It say Syria, stupid. Look, they got up out of there. All right. Enough with the goofiness. That's how they was doing. Except it was a red, black, and green flag on the front of that truck right there. But hold on, though. We still having fun. Because they might have got up out like somebody else. Who else got up out of here? Who else got up out of here? Hold on, let's see how this killers got up out of it. Look, that can't be found. Dang, all right, I can't find. I can't. I got one for y'all. Here go the last one. Here go the pseudo killers. How to do the running man. Can't you imagine Corey yourself? Look. Look. Come on, pseudo killers. Let's work on y'all running man. It's one of the main grooves of hip hop. We need you, Chef, to show us your best running man tonight. Cause soon as I start breaking this down, you turn to the left and start busting the move. Like you lifted your right leg, you push back and down, bruh. This is what they did. Look. You push back and down, my dude. As you pushing back, say it don't mean Syria. All right, I'm up out of here. I love y'all. It's all good, fun and comedy. We having fun. I'm up out. Peace. Take care.
Upper age, boy. Got that white crown. Upper age, boy. Babylonian bars. Ugaritic spit it, get it, dagger on me. That harpoon, it ain't for abalone. Phoenician pieces made of Nubian gold. Antediluvian scrolls hit the Nubian poles. And if you want to debate that, you'll get truly exposed. I'm like the king of Axum, bring the maxims of Patar back to action. I actually swing my axe, so y-axis 32 degrees west on the y-axis. Try and catch us. Christianity was stole from Kemet, lying bastards. Compare the book of Psalms to Amenope. Sometimes I'm rhyming, I'm just like a shaman, okay? I rock the white crown, say top shimmer. You rock the red crown, say top metal. You rock the white crown, say top shimmer. You rock the red crown, say top metal. I'm a star charting Bantu boy with my bow and arrow. I raise a king in my gnome if I don't know the pharaoh. Explosive and lethal in your dreams like Joseph the Hebrew. And no sending evil, why jet and neck bent. Here to ward that off, I'm not a sage burner. Scroll learner, the page turner. The script writer, put the pen down cause I don't fucking need it. Cause I got the white crown, the upper Egypt. The white crown, say top shimmer. You rock the red crown, say top metal. You rock the white crown, say top shimmer. You rock the red crown, say top metal. I'm a C group, Madjai Archer, from Ta-Nehisi. You conscious community pseudos never try to test me. Cause I'm in Rock Squad up, fuck religion. And when I'm on the mic, don't cut my wisdom, boy. I'm W.E.B. Du Bois. I'll smother you under the Sphinx, heed the voice. Ancestrally cooking up mean lyrics. Cats fighting cause they don't think the Dogon has seen Osiris. And DNA can't prove ethnicity. How you conscious? You say Pacific instead of specifically. You know my shit so raw, you get crushed. Think the force of a hippo jaw. It's the Madjai. Top shimmer. You rock the red crown.